And welcome everybody to the Titan Series America's Scrims Day 1. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble. I'm going to be your host for today. We got PUBG Mobile all day today, baby. And well, it's going to be a ton of fun. And at least I'm happy you're going to be here. I mean, we got 5 great maps. We got 3 great regions about to face off against each other, bringing you the PUBG Mobile action you know and love. And speaking of bringing in that action, right, we've got 2 wonderful casters that should be very familiar to you. I'm talking about PB. We got Powerbank. We got Coffee. Coffee letting it all hang out there, baby. I'm liking the outfit. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. How you doing?
I'm great, man. It's good to have you. Now, I know obviously you make content. You're a content creator when it comes to PUBG Mobile, but you have done some hosting. You've done some casting. It means a lot, having you here today, at least. I think casting for it, as you said it, at the highest level today over these great scrims.
Exactly. I'm being excited to be here also with Powerbang. He's been there for years. And, for a first experience, I couldn't ask for more.
That's right. And PB, been here for years. You even said a little bit earlier, maybe this is your first time watching the game. I can't pin you down, baby, but PB, it's great to have you. You've been leading the Titan series since Season 0 to Season 1, and now we're going into the scrims. How's everything going?
I can't complain, my friend. So excited to watch the awesome action that's going to be going down here. With these PNPL Americas teams, it's going to be another level of competition tonight, and I cannot wait to just soak it all in and call the action.
That's right, and 5 great maps and also 16 wonderful teams playing tonight. Let's take a look at them. We have 14 teams that were at least top 5 respective in their region, and of course the qualifier. We do have 2 fill-ins though, and that's going to be Team Execute. They were 7th in North America whenever it came to the qualifiers, and then also we're going to be looking at Storm Gaming. They were 15th, 1 from North America, 1 from Brazil respectively, but the other 14, well, they made it into this by qualifying PB, and they're here for a reason.
Absolutely. These teams have all fought their way through their respective regions, each of them placing pretty much in the top 5 in their regional tournaments and absolutely crushing all comers. Really excited to see what they bring to the table. Had a couple conflicts tonight with a few teams, most notably Alpha 7 Esports, winners of the Brazil region. They won't be here tonight, but look forward to seeing them perhaps in the future. We've got some beasts like Influence Chemin. We've got the champs from North America in YKG here. We've got ATON Esports showing up, and Hyper, obviously, and then obviously all of the other teams from the other regions as well. Super excited to see them all come together and maybe give it a little bit of a different look since they're not used to playing each other just yet. It's a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come in PNPL.
Yeah, what's to come indeed, and what is to come is, of course, the PNPL Americans Championship for Spring 2023. That'll be May 25th through the 28th. So that's what these guys are scrimming for, and they want to move forward to the PUBG Mobile World Invitational. That's what's at stake. Let's talk about scoring, though. It should be very familiar for all of you out there, but for first place, you get 10 points, and then on down from there. You definitely want to bring 7th or 8th so you can at least get that additional points. 1 point per elimination, which is honestly a lot to me when it comes to BRs. There's a whole bunch of different scorings, but 1 point per elimination, 9 points for first. I think you're justified in making pushes. Obviously, I will default to PP as well as Coffee as to what they're thinking. But Coffee, we've got 5 great maps, and Vikendi is in here. I know NA as well as Latin America, they have a lot of experience playing there, but Brazil, they haven't actually played this competitively yet. It's now in the added rotation for scrims. How do you think that's going to play out for the Brazilian guys?
I think it'll be really interesting to see how the Brazilian teams will be able to adjust to the other regions. Who has been practicing on Vikendi? As y'all know, Vikendi has not been in the esports for quite a while now. So again, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see how these teams are going to adjust and where they will be dropping here on Vikendi.
That's right. PB, PUBG Mobile, it's very new to me, right? I'm still learning, so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions to kind of, work my way through it, but it is exciting. It's an intense schedule, too, when it comes to the PNPL. Lots of matches taking place, several days across, I think, 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, but also, too, very unique style. 5 maps competed again, or I guess in this case, 4 maps, but 5 maps played in general. That's a lot of adjustment, PB, right? It takes a lot to learn each and every map and play it at the top competitive level.
It really does. And there's obviously a huge difference in the play style on each one of these maps, and you'll see some teams really excel on some and maybe are in the middle of the pack on others. And that's one of the things I'll be looking at today as some of our kind of map specialist teams like Enhyper from the North America region really excelling on Sanhok. I want to see if they can take some of that success, deploy it to other portions on other maps, and see how they stack up against the competition there. And then we'll be taking a look, obviously, at some of the other teams in the other regions as well. I got my eyes on Influence Chemin as well to see how they can adapt with this new set of teams that's going to be placed in front of them. But overall, I like the addition of Vikendi back into it. See a little bit slower of a gameplay there with so many different buildings usually in the circle and safe, and it's not till the later circles where you really see that action start to pop off.
And Coffee, when I think about this game, I think intensity, but I also think, for me, I'm an NA fan because I'm based out of NA. Now, with you being Canadian, maybe it can be a little bit different. But regardless, though, I have heard Brazilian, Latin America, like these guys are talented. And NA, I think they're in a run for their money because of Brazil and Latin America's talent.
I think it'll come down to rotations, to be fully honest with you. Again, I'm looking forward to some of these teams from NA to kind of impose themselves here, especially on Vikendi. But again, I got to say, the Brazilian teams, they are fraggers. They are there for elimination. So again, that will play in terms of points. And I got some teams that I have my eyes on, and we'll see down the road how they'll perform.
Got your eyes on some teams. So I know PB had a discussion about the teams he was watching out for. What are some teams that you're looking out for then?
Did I keep it a secret?
No, not at all. I don't like secrets, man. We just met, I know, but come on, be honest.
Okay, I got my eyes on Loops. Loops has been a team that's been performing, for years now. But when it comes to NA, I gotta be honest, I'm all about underdogs. All right, so the fact that Execute were able to get in a spot, this is their moment right now. They gotta show us what they got, right? So I'm looking forward for Execute and Loops to do well tonight.
Okay, so Loops, we know they're moving forward to at least the PMPL America's Championship, right, PB? But for Execute, I don't think they have a chance to compete, at least at that level. But at least tonight, they can compete against those. 7th place, not too bad, right? So they definitely were on the bubble. I think tonight, underdogs looking to go big.
Who knows? Maybe they'll be recruited. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say Execute's a team that has historically been a part of that conversation, at least in the North American region. And I really feel like they kind of believe they belong, right? But it's up to them to go out and prove it at this point. I know that they have potentially got some roster shakeups and might be trying some new things out. So we'll keep an eye on who they actually trot out to the battlegrounds this evening to actually fight for them. So I'm really curious to see kind of what's happened there and if they have that chemistry going just yet. But really a tremendous opportunity against some of the best competition around to prove that they belong.
I love that, though. You mentioned roster changes for Execute. I'm sure you'll be touching on those whenever you do see them compete today during the scrims. But this is the perfect opportunity to try some new others out, maybe even bring some older teammates back into the fold, see how they compete against the best. And if they do well, come next season, hey, that's going to be your roster that you're going to rock with. So this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Now, Coffee, I go back to you because you mentioned Brazil and their aggression and how they frag out, right? Which excites me because I love seeing pushes in BRs. Now, it's high risk, high reward. Sometimes you make a push, put yourself in a bad situation, you get third party, now you're done and dusted. But Coffee, that aggression, do you think it'll pay off today?
I think this is the perfect moment tonight to, to set the tone, right? So I think, once again, the Brazilian team, even on the global stage, they do so well. So when it comes to Americas, hey, I mean, why not start imposing yourself and, making the other teams afraid of, running into you?
There you go. Run into you. PB, teams running into you or you taking them down? I don't know. I've never seen you play.
Taking them down, man. I like to lurk back in the background, bring out that Car 98, that M24, get that long distance knock, and then send the team. I'll stay back there and kind of watch what's going on. But I also have to tip my cap to the Brazilians coming into this one. They've got to be heavy favorites, especially when we look at the PMPL performances of last fall. We look at like the winter, season kind of coming through. Brazil absolutely dominated on the global stage, not just regionally. We knew they were strong, in this hemisphere, but when they went over to Asia to play in the global championship, after day one, the top 3 teams were all from Brazil. There were only 3 in the tournament, and they were sitting 1, 2, and 3. Ultimately, it didn't shake out quite like that, but Brazil ultimately had an incredibly dominant showing, which kind of reversed what, was they were in firm control until S2G took it at the very, very end, which is a team out of Turkey. And so, again, Brazil, just a brilliant showing, and really has kind of, I don't want to say firmly eclipsed China just yet, but China has been, 3 out of the top 5 teams for seasons in a row now. And for the first time this last season, that was not the case. And Brazil was the team to kind of make that change happen.
So when I think about, competitiveness and I talked about that grueling schedule for PMPL, everybody goes through it. So what makes one region that much better than the other? Powerbang, I'll pass it back over to you again, because I keep mentioning Brazil and how good they are. NA, they've got to come up, although they're every team that's playing today is very talented. But what makes Brazil or China so much better than the other regions?
I really think it comes down to infrastructure and opportunity. There's a lot of really great grassroots tournaments and events just like this one that are being played on the regular. And when you have these types of opportunities, it fosters a great community of teams that are there and able and willing to play. And ultimately, when you look at a hyper-competitive landscape with a lot of interest from teams, it ultimately breeds out the best in those competitors, right? You've got teams that are really, really good. When you look at the Brazil lineup, we've got, Influence Chemin and INCO Gaming and Loops and FLAMENGO Esports, like all of these teams, incredibly talented. And when you have to play against each other, week in, week out, that's ultimately going to make you a better team. And quite honestly, that's what we've seen out of Asia, Southeast Asia, etc. So some of the regions that are notably strong, it just means that there's a lot of teams that consistently push each other to be better. And quite historically, we've seen teams pretty much stay together for a longer period of time that we've seen in the weaker regions. And so that stability, that chemistry, and that, getting to know your teammate, that's something that we've definitely seen as well out of Brazil especially.
Yeah, Coffee, switching teammates, in and out, a revolving door, that's common amongst esports, especially whenever you go to the lower levels. But here at the top professional level, it still happens. And when that happens, that does set you back, Coffee.
Yeah, I have to agree. And again, that's one of the reasons why I did pick Loops for tonight. We're talking about teams that, they've been, like PB said, they've been playing together. And I think, again, because of the structure, I think because of the player pool where, once you're at a certain level, well, they're fighting against each other like on a weekly, even almost like on a daily basis with scrims and stuff. So again, I got to say, consistency. The fact that they're always playing with the same people, even though it's not the same teams that were there back in 2019. The fact that it's the same players for the most part. Well, hey, I got to say that has to come into play.
Consistency is key, right? Consistency is key. You got that, you'll be victorious. PB, today's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, it's just scrims, though, but I say just scrims. That doesn't make today any less impactful than other tournaments. After all, no money's on the line. Of course, they're not playing for seeding, but they are playing to get better. We're very close, right, to that PMPL America's Championship. Heading into that, a lot of regions, they're going to be competing there. But are there any favorite teams, not only tonight, but also heading into that championship, who you expect to potentially be champion and move on to the PUBG Mobile World Invitational?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you got to take a look at Alpha 7. They're not going to be here tonight due to conflict. They've got to show up to another event as well. But I think they're at the top of the list. I think Influence Chemin is really, really, really talented. I think INCO Gaming is up there. All of these teams from Brazil. I think you can't discount Jaguar out of the LATAM region. Very, very talented. And one of the, a couple of staple teams from NA. We got to mention YKG, who's kind of a newcomer on the scene, but has experience individually at this level. And then also N-Hyper. They seem to be around every year, but haven't quite put the full package together to actually excel at that global level. They're looking to, but ultimately we're looking to see a bit more from them. The last thing I'll add is maybe on the side of favor for LATAM and NA, Brazil hasn't played Vikendi competitively before.
True.
So, if you look at the North American squads and the LATAM squads, they've had a few weeks of that now. So that's a little bit interesting. We'll have to see how that goes.
All right, well, we're about to go through our fly-through, get Erangel underway. Coffee, is it safe to say you're going for Loops real quick? Who's your prediction?
Loops. Oh, yeah, for sure. Game one, Loops. Yeah, they're going to go strong.
Loops.
Go strong.
All right, and then for you, PB, who you going for?
I'm going to take, it's a tough one. I'm going to go with a little bit of a dark horse here. I'm going to go with ATON Esports in game number 1 out of ladder.
ATON Esports.
Beautiful.
Okay, I was thinking Team Jaguar only because you were hyping them up just a little bit. But for me, I got to go with NA off the rip. But I'm a Latin American fan. But for this time around, I'm going YKG. Let's see what they can do. But Coffee, as you said earlier, those underdogs, I think they're looking to become the big dogs after today is finished. Map 1 is about to get started. PB Coffee, let's get it underway.
Hey, thank you so much, Reflections. Really appreciate it. YKG, I love the pick. I'm really hopeful they absolutely slay. I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to talk about the logo I helped them design. Really, really pushing for the home team here in YKG. It was clip art basically, so I think it's not that huge. But anyway, Coffee.
Yes.
We got to get into it, man. We've got Erangel coming up, and I'm excited because this is the first time in a while we've seen this level of competition in the region. It always gets me super hyped when we have teams of this caliber clashing on the same battlegrounds.
Yeah, well, we have a playing path right down the middle, I'd say, going from the south to north. One thing I'll have my eyes on is try to see if we got some teams that are going to be battling for for their drop spots. As you know, these teams like to drop at one certain spot, and sometimes when it's the first game like this, as you can see maybe here on the east part towards Milta, I believe we got like 3 teams going in that direction. So again, that might screw some of these teams early here in game number 1.
Absolutely. I'm really curious to see, for example, I've been riding along with the NA region for quite some time now as we see the circle start developing in the eastern half of the zone. But we've been watching teams like Hyper really just own the farm and all of the ground around here. And obviously all these teams have their preferred drop spots, but I don't know if any coordination or communication was done with these teams before these scrims took place, because again, they are scrimmages. That means we're practicing here, trying not to go out early for the most part, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're approaching this according to a typical practice schedule, right? They might be treating this like it's game time, like it's tournament, and that means hot drops are a possibility. So have to wait and see if we have any early fighting here, Coffee.
Exactly. As you see, we have a lot of teams again that are on the east side of the map. West side is totally clear. So I don't know if it's one thing that some teams might actually try to adjust moving forward, maybe on game number 5, because we're coming back to Erangel on game 5. So will some of these teams try to go towards the west, knowing that it's clear, or again, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. We got Chiffon here suiting up for Hyper tonight. You love to see that. He joined us a few weeks back on the Titan Series desk as a guest kind of host and caster. That's always fun. Wish him the best of luck tonight. Looks like he's getting quite the kit early on with the M249 and what else is that? It's not a DP. No, it looks like a Mosin Nagant. I thought he had a DP and an M24 at the start. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna go absolutely bananas. But anyway, the interesting strats here from Nova. It seems like on most maps they split early on. Have solos kind of looting these smaller houses. They do the same thing on Vikendi, kind of down towards Winery, and then in the southern part of the map on Sanhok. And it seems to work out pretty well with them. These guys are absolute beasts, and curious to see if they can pull it together here against this tougher competition from Latin and Brazil.
Yeah, well, I'm looking here at Chiffon, like you said. I'm seeing, I haven't really followed esports in NA that much in the past couple weeks. I've been fairly busy here at home, but I do see Kindness is back. We got Rin, but as it comes for the 4th teammate there, for me that's a new name. So I'll see how this turns out for them. But again, I got to say, Chiffon, he's a well set name there here in NA. Been playing at the highest level for a long time now. So again, they could do very good here in game number 1.
Amazing. We still waiting for our first showdown here. We've got 15 teams doing battle, and excited to see who is going to pop onto that board first. It looks like we've got ATON, which is we got Chuko here, which is again my dark horse pick for game number 1. I have no idea how that will work or not, but dang it, I'm rooting them on here. They got the 2nd anniversary Dacia. Gotta love to see that. It brings me back to the old days, man, of PUBG.
Oh yeah, it goes way back, like where me and you we started mostly. Like I think both of us are season 1 players, right?
Yep, day 1 here, man. Played at the game the day the game dropped, and I wasn't even really like expecting it. It was just kind of a happy accident. Like, oh, hey, this new cool shooter game. I'm going to play it, and fell in love immediately. And here we are, half a decade later. Kind of crazy.
Indeed. It came down to, us being able to make a pretty solid career out of this. And, I'm looking forward to the future, especially with PUBG Mobile, with the new events that are coming out as well. Really excited for what PUBG Mobile has in store for us.
Dude, I'm going to play some dinosaurs. I can't wait. We saw a couple things in the kill feed here. ATON Esports in trouble. Why did I pick him? The caster curse is real. ATON getting beaten up right now by Storm, and that is not what we were hoping for. Oh my goodness. If only I could have picked any other team. Can I switch my pick at this point, Coffee? I don't know if that's allowed, but they're in trouble.
I don't think it's possible, PV. Like you said, caster curse. Maybe you'll have to drop your curse on another team, but it looks like a Storm. They already got 2 eliminations to their account, and they might be going for that full-on squad wipe here. That would be tough for your team, being eliminated first in game number 1.
Hey, easy, my guy. This is not my team. I'm not claiming him at this point. ATON, Jack can have him back. I don't know what's going on here. I thought we were picking winners, but apparently they caught the wrong end of the Storm stick here. Storm getting the best of ATON in this fight. Again, this is the danger of split dropping. Quite easy to get rolled up on, and they found a full squad here, and Storm ultimately got picked apart as ATON all over the map right now and unable to come back, provide support for those teammates. And they're happy to make it out with 2 here. And they'll keep an eye on that lobby and try to survive at this point. No longer about aggression here, but we'll see if they can avoid Storm finishing the job.
Yeah, we got ATON, who, as you can see, they had 1 player there by the ridge. I think he was trying to maybe get one knock, one elimination there on Storm. But yeah, they're not in a good position there. This might be time for ATON, to regroup those last 2 players there and try to, escape from there. Because again, these are scrims. They don't really count. But again, you don't want to start off with being the first team eliminated in game number 1.
Yeah, I think from a player's perspective, it always counts. You know what I mean? Especially if you're putting it on the internet and broadcasting and whatnot. It's always there's always something going on. One thing that I noticed there after taking a peek at the map is it does look like ATON has fired back and caught Storm a bit off guard here. They've traded, but it's a 1v2 trade, and it's all up to Chuko now to try to save the day as the Samu rolls in. He's going to get this revive up top, probably within safety here as Ellison down the way will try to pin Chuko. Interestingly enough, they might just have to send it and try to get some elims here, because ultimately placement not super important. But what I was going to say is when we looked at that map a moment ago, there were some teams that have definitely shifted their drop locations, and so they're adapting already to the lobbies. That's a really interesting observation kind of early on in this one.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed from that map view that we had there. We have YKG who went all the way to Primorsk. So, they decided to go on that West Coast. That was 100%, free. So, for them, they're not in risk of losing some players early here in game 1. But when it comes to Storm and AT, they are going toe-to-toe there. Chuko will be facing a shotgun. This is going to be a tough one for him.
He's got the DBS. Here comes the nade. He connects. Perfect nade there. He's going to try to get that quick finish, but he's pinned. The pressure is on. He might actually be able to get a finish here. 2 players down from Storm. Going for the heal. Pressure coming in. Doesn't quite get it in. Unable to overcome. Nice try from ATON. But, of course, the first team eliminated is the team that I picked to win. Gosh darn it. Coffee, what did I do wrong here?
I don't know. I think I don't have to curse yet. We'll see how it goes for loops. But I got to say, Chuko, beautiful nade there, perfectly timed. That is why these players are at that level. You can tell the way they're able to time these nades during those push. I can even do it perfectly myself, and I've been playing the game for 5 years now.
I can barely pull the pin on a nade without blowing myself up, Coffee. I'm impressed just watching these guys get it off without killing each other. So Got the next circle coming in, centering up kind of around the shelter here. Always makes for an interesting zone. You got those dips. You've got the warehouse out there. Really interested to see how this circle ends up shaping up. But Influence Chemin now getting into it. They've got 3 elims already to their name, distributed pretty nicely across the team here. And now in Hyper, kind of getting bisected here by another squad rolling in. That's it looks like FLAMENGO Esports has rolled in on them at shelter, trying to get that center zone position.
Yeah, one thing that I did notice once again on that map, PB, is that we do have a 3-1 split there for N Hyper. We have Kindness, who was all the way up by Siverney by himself, while the rest of the team were in a pretty solid spot, dead center here in the circle. I don't know if this is the strategy they were hoping for, or was Kindness offline there in the beginning, and he got caught off guard and had to jump last second. I don't know if this was part of their strategy, but it's going to be interesting how it's going to play out, having that 3-1 split.
Absolutely. You got Nate and the Panthers kind of looking down on YKG there as they see Joey and crew rotate out. Gonna go try to get that position in zone. And we got the Dope Slayers here tonight as well. Dope with Robert here actually finished 3rd in PNPL North America. So that was impressive placement from them. They might even have overperformed a bit given the competition in the region, but they're going to be trying to string together kind of a back-to-back impressive performance here. See if they can stamp their ticket to Globals.
Yeah, one thing I did notice is that we had Influence who was in Stauber, and they're shifting from the northwest part. They got a couple teams on their side, so I don't know if they're going to try to get one of those circles dead in the center or not. But we got Dope, who are going, they're battling out with YKG there. YKG, who got a knock on Loop, so it seems like YKG is fighting on 2 different angles there.
They really are. YKG got the jump on Loops, got the knock, got the flush, and now it's a 4v3, but Dope coming up the hill behind YKG really kind of had them in a precarious situation, but ultimately all those shots ringing out caused Dope to retreat a bit and, treat this position maybe a little bit differently, try to find another angle, and they have chosen to prioritize circle versus this fight happening outside the zone at this point. You can see the Execute squads and Team Panthers over on the western side of the circle here. They're going to have a challenge trying to get in to the circle. Got to go through the likes of Influence Chemin here, and that is going to be really tough as they're fighting Royals of War right now.
Yeah, indeed. Like you said earlier, maybe cast a curse low there. Loops, who did lose a player, and there we have Mythic here with a buggy with 3 tires only. That's going to be tough to rotate with that buggy. But Loops, who just lost a second player. Well, not lost. One player just got knocked on the rotation there. Hopefully Loops.
Did you see that, Coffee?
I did.
Did you see why he was knocked? He was driving backwards in his buggy. That was Ayala. And I'm like, there's no way that's going to last for any period of time, man. He's got it in reverse going like 5 miles an hour. Ultimately gets knocked out of the vehicle. Loops in trouble here early.
Yeah, he tried a reverse out strategy, so it didn't work out for him. But again, we see a lot of teams on the movement. Like, these zones are so quick. By the time you figure out, okay, maybe we could get this compound here, it's already time to move again. So that's why we got some teams out here that like a FLAMENGO, who are constantly moving there on their buggies. So again, it's all about gathering as much information as you can, and FLAMENGO is doing a pretty good job at that.
YKG moving into the compound there, securing that compound, but they're going to have to fight for it, it looks like. As it looks like Nova Hyper has the exact same plan here. Chiffon getting knocked from a third part. No, it's actually 24K getting with the DBS, and Hyper in big trouble here. YKG has come to play today.
I gotta say, the DBS, the DBS strategy has been something that moved over from Vikendi to the other maps. The people just realize how powerful these shotguns are, especially in close range fights. So I like the fact that we went from the M4 UMP meta to now we see a lot of players with the M4 and a shotgun in their hands now.
I got to ask your opinion on that, Coffee. As a bit of a player yourself, what do you think about the shotgun meta, man? The DBS is absolutely nuts in close range. Do you like it? Do you like the style of gameplay? Do you think it should be tweaked? Give me your thoughts there.
I've been overlooking the shotgun myself because I'm not the most accurate player out there. But not. I think it was last night. Last night I managed to get a beautiful 1v4 pushing with that shotgun, and I think that's how I finished off my stream. So I gotta say, shotguns are OP. I don't know if they got to tweak them, but maybe put them back in the crate.
Definitely. It's been an interesting for sure. I could see a small tweak to mechanics potentially being needed, but Sixless here from Execute. I don't know if he's a permanent member of the team, but he's definitely ringing for him here tonight. Getting pinned down in the field, hiding behind that straw stack out there. Pinned down by Influence Chemin there, who's chipping away, getting some shots off. Let's take a peek over to Jaguar here, looking down the hill against Storm. Against Storm, lots of early action here. The guns have been warmed up, and they're going to have to go at it against the #1 team from LATAM.
Yeah, they've been going toe to toe. I got to say, I was surprised earlier when I did see a Sixless. I'm like, wait, did someone try to sack his name? No, it's the actual Sixless. If we're talking about experience, that guy, he's got plenty. He's got plenty. So I mean, I thought at one point he was in a coach position, but the fact that he's back on the ground, I'm excited to see him tonight.
Well, you see them shotguns getting busy. Jaguar claps back here. They're trying to keep their guys in the fight. Somehow, some way, Storm has not confirmed any of these kills just yet. And Ellison goes down here. Only one left, and he's late. Immediately getting connected with here. Seba down to just 1 HP. He's going to have to pop the heal. Good fight going on here between Storm and Jaguar.
Yeah, Seba's the last one standing there for his team. He's got to come in clutch. And the fact that he was able to get a knock there. Look at his life, PB.
One elim here, and oh man, the guy that was getting revived was down to like 2 HP as well. Seba down to 2 HP. That was just a really, really precarious situation. Seba does go down. This is tough for Jaguar. And now Samu on the push here. They wish they could have knocked him on the approach. They're out of that vehicle, but ultimately he's doing some damage.
Yeah, Storm's been battling since early here in game 1, and they're going hard. I'm actually impressed there. I'm actually impressed by, once again, like you said, these players with the shotguns. They are so accurate. But yeah, there you go. That's another elim.
And Kindness.
Yeah, Storm.
I just saw Kindness in the kill feed. He took himself out, and that was the last member of Nova, or N-Hyper. So N-Hyper has been eliminated on a self-nade. So a little kamikaze action to get out of the lobby. Not what you want to see. Great pre-smokes here from YKG. He's going to block their entry. And it does look like Storm has started to pick up some momentum. So really liking that, especially given that they're one of the teams filling in tonight. So already making their presence felt.
Yeah, we got Federal here who is bleeding out. I don't think, no, they won't be able to get him back up. So this is going to be a tough one for Influence Chemin to, they're going to be down to only one player. And now we got a push here from the side. And this is going to be a tough one for them.
Tchaikovsky went for it and unable to get the pickup there and gets eliminated in return. Influence Chemin back to the lobby as well. And overnight, that's the 4th place team out of LATAM getting the victory there. It's kind of a little bit of an underdog performance. You love to see it. And they have 2 players. Well, now they're both finished. So it's off to the zone with Kuin, and he might not be long for this world either.
No, I don't think so, especially with his vehicle that's smoking. But I got to say, they made it to the top 10. Now the teams are dropping fairly fast. This zone is super small. And as you can see, the teams got to push in. They got to move into aggressive mode there. Beautiful nade there by 24K.
That was huge. Hayuya was hiding in that corner. 24K knew he was there, and they get in and get the knock. Nesquik now trying to fend them off, but third-party action outside. 24K unable to fend off Dope Esports coming in from behind, and that'll be it for YKG having to fight on the front and back lines here against 2 full squads. The Panthers now will make their assault into the warehouse, and Dope will be trying to defend.
This is 3 different teams, PB from NA, all battling out for the same building. And again, they want to finish it off, but this building is now outside zone. They will have to figure out, what will be their next stop. But, once again, they made it to the top 7. Not too bad right now, but Team Panthers, they are going hard.
I really like the Panthers' position here, actually. They're still going to have to rotate. but they've been able to kind of lock down that warehouse so the other teams can't leave. I mean, I don't know if I would have left that early, honestly, given that they were already kind of late in rotation as it is. Possibly wait to finish the fight since they can gatekeep there. We'll see if that decision pays off in the long run, but it looks like Chronix immediately mowed down upon entering the circle, and now Quan separated from him. He's going to lose that member, and now Valak, the last member of the squad here, a little bit late. Quan goes down. I don't know. I would have stayed there and taken those basically free elims. And Valak taken out as well. The Panthers getting shredded on the rotation, and that's going to leave Dope Slayers as the winners of that warehouse fight, and they're going to be trying to make their way to the circle here shortly.
Yeah, you can't overlook, the LATAM team. That's one thing that's been talked earlier. Flamengo just been, collecting those easy elims there. And now we got Dope, who are in a really, really top position. They got the smoke, luckily for them, but that's gonna be a tough one for them. They're in a really, really bad spot, in my opinion.
Pinned down, but they got a little bit of hard cover here. So I don't hate the position that they're in. I mean, they could get blessed with a little bit of a zone shift. They need to spread out a bit, which they've done. But they've got the position, and they've got all 4 players alive, which is the key right now, and they're all getting patched up. So Dope Slayers could be worse off right now. They were in a really bad spot there in the warehouse, and ultimately the Panthers decided, hey, let's leave them alone. Let's go to zone. Ultimately, I gave Dope just enough time to get back into the fight, and now Storm is feeling the business end of Flamengo's DP28, and they will leave the lobby as well as we head to the top 5.
Yep, and as you can see right now, zone closing. I think these team are going easy. That
was all Glory Gaming, man. They got some gunners on that team. They've been shooting some lasers out of those rifles.
Yeah, I was actually trying to figure out what team that was. All Glory. First time hearing from them. And again, like I said, LATAM is probably a region I haven't paid attention that much. But I think after tonight, I will have to do my homework and give them more attention.
They got some ballers down there for sure. All Glory Gaming coming in second place for PMPL LATAM. And they're showing why here as they've made an impression here in the top 5. Another surprise team of fill-in for tonight. That is Execute, also in the top 5. So 2 of our fill-in teams that are substituting they're fragging out, man. They're going crazy. And so Execute doing super well. Dope Slayers here, nice position in the zone. And a lot of pre-fire going on. Flamengo has been impressive as well. They've been in a lot of fights, and they're somehow still standing. And they've got a nice little 2-2 split going on here late on in this one. Only 12 players left. Coffee, who do you like right now as far as zone position?
I gotta say, this zone is pretty tough. It comes down to... Ooh, did he connect? Whoa, beautiful knock there by David. I gotta say, at this point, I don't even know what kind of cover they got out there. But execute PV. They still got 3-player up out there, and I think they're looking good.
I like the execute position on that side of the circle, and for the most part, they've got great angles, and nobody's able to really bother them from that distance. Flamengo might have a hard time getting to circle. They got some great gunners on the squad, but ultimately they've got some ground to cover, and it is through the open. You can see the rotation starting to happen, and then that last member of Loop still up, trying to make things difficult here. Or I guess there's a couple left, Ayala and Mythic, and they are making things challenging for teams trying to rotate out. We've got Execute off in the distance as well. We are down to the top 4. And, the Lambos have got to get to zone here. Maybe Ayala, why is he reversing in every car? Like, have we not learned our lesson at this point?
I don't know, but I like the fact that his Lambo is actually matching Loop's color. But one thing I was able to see earlier for a split second, and we can see right now, Execute with 9 eliminations, PV, 9 kills. They're in the top 4. Man, talking about underdogs. This is what I was talking about earlier. And, I said I was hoping for them to come and, come hard here in game 1. And this is exactly what they're doing with some beautiful rotations as well. I would not be surprised if they were able to manage to get that first chicken there here in game 1.
Hey, they got good position now. Raw grabbing the off angle. Good look at the sight lines on all of the other squads here. What a great position with hard cover in front of him. I love this from Execute. Great position. Sixless has got to stay up, though, and he doesn't. Mythic connects, puts him on his knees. That's going to be a difficult revive for Execute. I cannot get this backwards driving out of my head, though, Coffee. I think there might be something to it. We've seen Ayala do this in a couple of occasions now. I wonder if it's to put more metal and more vehicle between his target and maybe his head. I don't know. But, man, what a weird strat. I have not seen it before, but maybe there's something to it, and he's just a better PUBG Mobile player than I am. Got to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
You know, in life, we always say, you know, smooth is fast. So maybe that's his meta. You know, he spoke the, you know, reversing out. I don't know. But again, I got to say, Execute, they're able to get that revive there. They were able to get that revive there on Sixless. That is massive. No, never mind. Sorry, I thought he got it.
He got mowed down. Mythic was able to take care of him from range through the smoke there. So really nice shots from him. Casper's going to head to the zone and grab that cover, which again, they're in circle here, but you got to love All Glory Gaming's positioning. They've got that hard cover as well. It really comes down to the off angle right now. From Execute being way off on that side and getting that that good vision. And now it's a little bit of a stalemate here. We got Flamengo and Loops. Ayala taking down Toiko. And now it's just a race to get to that center. We'll see if he's able to survive.
Yeah, we got Loops. Like I said, well, not like I said. I thought they were going to go hard here, but they only got 2 kills. But again, Execute going strong. And one thing I do like about Execute is they were able to get a really good positioning there in the next zone. And Execute, they're looking sharp. Like I said, Loops and the other teams are, you know, they're really strong teams. But the fact that Execute don't have to worry about, you know, doing a rotation there, I think that's gonna play to their favor.
Rar's going to go for this revive. The guy is knocked in the center of the zone. So there's an actual opportunity here to get this man back in the fight, and pressure being put out right now from Ayala onto All Glory Gaming. I don't know how close those grenades came. Rojas very well aware of the situation over by Execute, but no clean lines of sight at this point. We've got a 3-way standoff, and this is going to be an interesting one to watch develop. We got Loops from Brazil. We've got All Glory Gaming from LATAM, and we've got Execute from North America. So all 3 regions represented in our first top 3 of the evening. Who's it going to be, chat? Let us know which region you pulling for. I think it could go anyone's way at this point as everyone getting back into the fight. It's a 2v2v2.
Yeah, exactly. 2v2v2. The one thing I got to say, I think the fact that Loops does not have a vehicle, they you know, that's some extra cover that they don't have when we come down to Execute. As you can see right there, they can still have their vehicle, functional vehicle. So if they do have to push, you know, they're not gonna be running, you know, in open fields. So that could play in their favor. But again, zone is about to shift right now.
It is, and it favors Execute. So Execute gets that circle. They will not have to fight necessarily unless they get spotted out. But it's going to be up to Loops and All Glory Gaming to get this figured out. I wonder if this bush right here is going to be the move for Execute. This one little bright spot in the center of the field gives them some nice cover. But man, if somebody just shoots that bush, they're going to connect, won't they? Seems like an interesting spot to hide.
Yeah, sometimes you wanna be as stealthy as possible, but being stealthy might actually give out your positioning, especially if you select one of these bushes. Because when it comes down to you know, no hard cover like that, that is usually what players are going to be targeting, either bushes or trees. You know, it's very rare. It's uncommon for players to just be there in the open.
Absolutely. You're going to see these grenades start to fly, and this is kind of what I'd be targeting, you know. If I was throwing a grenade at random to try to flush somebody out, I'm targeting trees. I'm looking at those bushes that are sticking out in the middle of the field. Throws out from Ayala, and he connects, gets about half damage, and is able to get the finish there. All Glory Gaming on their heels now as Rojas tries to clutch against Ayala and Mythic. Loops really doing a fine job as they do get the finish here. And now it is a 2v2. It's Execute versus Loops.
Hey, I gotta say, my two picks going, you know, toe to toe there for the first chicken. I gotta say, I'm
you gotta
happy.
rub it in.
I'm happy, PB. I'm happy.
Now I gotta hear this the rest of the broadcast coffee. We had to start like this. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm kidding, but I gotta say, I do like the fact that Execute look at their split. You know, Loops are really concentrated there, really close to each other, but Execute, they might be able to gather that information there. With that split, I think they're gonna be harder to spot. When it comes to Loops, you know, you can see these little pixels. You know, they're gonna be moving. And the fact that they're close to each other, one nade could maybe take them both out at the same time.
I was just going to say the same thing. No more utility. Or they got 2 more grenades from Casper here. I was waiting to see what they had at their disposal. If they can land just chunk damage with 1 grenade here, and you can see it start to come out, this is where it's going to make all the difference. We'll see if RAR can capitalize on that damage, but he has been spotted. Return fire, Loops knocked, and Execute picking up the chicken dinner. RAR getting it done, and Casper finishing things off. Execute, the fill-in for the evening. The team that had the most to prove, that said, we need to get this done, coming in with a new roster, a fresh look, and getting that fresh chicken dinner here for game number 1. Coffee, what did you think about the action in the first game of the night? That was insane.
Hey, none of these teams actually let me down there. It was action-packed from the beginning all the way till the end. But Execute, baby, underdogs. That's what I'm talking about. I'm all about underdogs in life.
Well, I guess...
See my underdogs rise up to the occasion, and Execute did exactly that, and they did it for NA. And most impactful is the fact that they, PB, 12 eliminations at the end of it, something like that, plus you get the points for first place. Wonderful, wonderful job. And, you know, I kind of want to go through their run throughout that game number 1, but PB, I got to go to you respectfully. ATON Esports, great prediction. They were the first to be eliminated. Hey, all jokes aside, though, seriously, I know Loops, I'm going to give you your praise, Coffee. I'm going to give you your praise. But Choco, though, did make a great play. There was at one point in that building, when, especially after he hit that nade, I'm like, he could 1v4 this, PB.
He was really close, man. He almost had that 1v3 cleaned up. He tried to pop out and get the finish on one of those elims, and because he didn't, that gave the other team the license to enter that building, because ultimately they were trying to keep their teammates alive. It was still very early on. And big props to Storm in that engagement. They not only finished that fight, but they finished several others as their run continued. They even wiped, I believe it was Jaguar off the map as well, the #1 team from LATAM. So really impressive job from Storm to kick things off. And, you know, I picked an underdog. I just didn't pick the right one. There's that fight that we were actually just talking about. Tries to get the finish, tries to get the heal off, and unfortunately Samu coming in, getting busy with the shotgun and clutching it up for Storm.
And Storm, let's touch on that, Coffee, because Storm does finish top 6. They're representing Brazil. They were the fill-in as well, so kind of last-minute addition, but they rose up to the occasion, much like Execute did, but to a lesser degree. I was impressed with their game style and their gameplay. Much like Execute, our fill-in teams, both Storm as well as Execute, were very aggressive. Do you think, because they're fill-ins and they have nothing to lose, that justified their aggression off the rip in map 1?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think it comes down to you know, what I said earlier here on the broadcast. You know, even though they're not able, you know, they're not qualified for the next stage on a player level, right? You still have everything to prove, you know, and you know, who knows? Maybe they'll be able, you know, if there's any other like roster changes, maybe some of these players are going to be picked up. So again, if I was on one of those teams, I would be doing the exact same thing. This is a moment where you got to play full aggressive, and that's where you got to test yourself, right? You got to be ready for the next shot you got.
PB, actually, I want to go to you because you mentioned in the beginning some roster changes, and I believe it was for Storm, if I'm not mistaken. Did you see any new additions to that roster that maybe stood out?
Not as familiar with the Storm roster. I was kind of keying on Execute specifically, especially seeing them in the lineup tonight. I heard Fate had actually gone with kind of a whole new roster, and honestly, all 4 players tonight. Different look entirely from Execute. Sixless, an old face, has been around the scene a long time. Oftentimes likes to fill in for something like this, but, you know, again, I have no idea what they're looking at long term here, but RAR was impressive in this one, getting those clutch, you know, elims towards the end, and Casper is a similar face here on the roster, so I believe it's Fate and Casper still sticking around there. Really impressive stuff though for game 1. Execute taking the chicken dinner home, and we're gonna turn our attention now to Miramar coming up next. Reflections, what are we thinking, man? I don't know. I was impressed with this first game. A lot of really good fighting.
I was impressed, and I tell you what, like, again, I don't have too much experience with PUBG Mobile, PB, but I'm looking to gain experience. That was exhilarating to watch the end, because when I look at other BRs, right, there's a lot of coverage, typically in the final zones. There was no coverage, but a rock, a Lambo, a Jeep, you know, even an airdrop that they would have to hide behind, and it made me tense up, because, like, these guys are crawling on the ground. Surely they're going to be seen. They're going to get lasered, and that did happen from time to time. I go to, it was All Glory Gaming. Ayla, who was just throwing out nades, gets a hit marker. There's a person there. Okay, I'm going to start, you know, lasering in the grass. Even if he didn't necessarily see the player, he knew hit markers here. Player's got to be there. He gets the finish. It was exciting, to say the least. But, you know, in terms of what I'm thinking now that we do go to Miramar, Coffee, for you specifically, is there more coverage there? Could we potentially see more open fights? How does that map play out to you?
The one thing that we'll see that will be different is for the, you know, the squads that were playing more aggressive in Erangel. You know, Erangel is a map that is fast paced. Miramar being a little more a slow paced map. I think those teams that play more conservative, those are teams that are going to pop off, because if you do happen to lose one or two players there early on Miramar, you know, you're not set up for success. So, I mean, I got to say, I think for game 2, my picks will have to change.
That's interesting. Okay, so now we go from a fast-moving map to a slower-moving map, and now strategy absolutely matters, and that's where that team chemistry comes into play. And PB, you know, actually, Coffee, let's go to you, because Loops, right? Loops, second place. They were your prediction to win. Well done with that one. Team chemistry, that was one reason why you went with them. And team chemistry, to me, excels on a slower-paced map where you have to strategize a little bit more than you would have to do on Erangel. Loops, do you think they're going to find just as much success as they did in map 1?
Top 5. My pick is Loops will be top 5, and I think this one's gonna go over to an Hyper Esport. That's my guess.
Hyper Esports. Okay, fair enough. So we got Hyper, and I'll hold you to that, especially when we get to predictions. So, PB, you asked me, though, Miramar, going into it, you mentioned that shotgun meta. You and Coffee kind of had a discussion about that shotgun meta still going to be very much true on Miramar?
Yeah, I think it's one of two things, right? You've got your rifle for the long range encounters, whether it's a DMR, whether it's a sniper, whether it's an AR, as most players prefer. The shotgun is almost a mandatory sidekick, because when it does come down to those compound crashes and those building takeovers, the DBS is the end all be all right now in competitive PUBG Mobile. So if you're not rocking at least 2, 3, 4 of those in your squad, well, the other team is, and they're going to be holding corners with those nasty shotgun slugs, and so you better be prepared. So I expect to see those in full tow here. Excited to see what the teams actually do pick up, and what kind of ground they're fighting for as this Miramar map gets on. One thing, Reflections, I saw in this first game, the third-party action was insane. People were clawing for every inch, and every time it seemed like a team would take a fight trying to get into a compound, they were getting shot in the back. 2 guys would go in, and the remainder would get mowed down in the yard. So it was absolutely bananas, and the level of coordination and communication that you need to play at this level it's got to be tip-top.
It's humbling. It really is, when a normal player, like I would say myself, goes in and, you know, you think you're good, and then you go and you play at this elite level. There's a big difference. Coordination is massive, and obviously when it comes down to team chemistry, that's massive too. But seriously, I'm excited to get into Miramar, and excited to see if Execute can effectively execute a slower play style. I mean, clearly they've got the aggression. Whatever worked for them in the beginning typically is going to work for them, especially off the initial of the break going into Miramar. But will it work out as the map continues forward? We'll definitely see. But those third parties, always something you have to watch out for, especially in solos, man. You're always getting third party in solos. Not so much here, you know, whenever it comes to quads. But Coffee, you, competitive player, if anything, just a content creator. What's the biggest difference from the matches maybe you play and the content creation that you do, as opposed to the competitive match that you just saw?
I think it comes down to what's on the line, right? You know, not too long ago, I was able to. Well, I was fortunate enough to compete against PB right there, who stole the show. But I got to say, the fact that there's something on the line, the play style is so different. The play style is so different. You know, for them, it's not about creating content. For them, it's about, you know, getting to the next level, getting to the next stage. So it is totally different. And I'm actually excited to be here tonight to be able to, you know, cast the gameplay. And one thing, I don't think we've heard PB's choice.
We haven't heard PB's choice.
We haven't heard my choice yet. Like, my memory is really bad, and I was actually thinking about that event. How did that go, Coffee? Like, how'd you guys do? Was it good?
This is a roast. I feel like this is a roast.
Yeah, that's a roast.
No. I just want to remind everybody who the defending Galaxy Battles champion is here on set. No, that was actually a lot of fun. We got a chance to play and kind of see through the lens of some of that competitive play. Everybody in the lobby's like super good. I felt super out of place in that type of environment, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. If I got to go with the pick this time, I'm going to go with ATON Esports. No, I'm not. ATON. You failed me once. You failed me once. I'm not coming back there again until you earn it back. Who are we going to go with? Let's see here. Influence Chemin kind of got I'm going to go YKG. I got to go with the homies. Joey and crew, 24K having a big first game. Honestly, I felt like their aggression, their angles, they were wanting to take some fights. I felt like it was actually on point. Really liked what YKG did, but ultimately got third-partied one too many times. First, it was Dope Esports. Then it was the Panthers rolling up on them. They were winning fights, and ultimately, I expect that to happen a bit more on a map like Miramar, where it's a bit more open and less likely you're going to see those third parties, or at least getting surprised by them.
All right, Season 0 champions. We'll see if they can pull up and go big at map number 2. This is such a cheesy move. Really cheesy move, but I don't even care because I'm all about cheesiness. I'm going with Loops. Okay, hey, I think Loops is going to take map number 2. They're my team because they got the team chemistry, as Coffee said, and I really like the way they played in zone, even though they did get executed by Execute. That's okay. I think map number 2, they're going to be all right. But make no mistake about it, for some reason deep inside of me, Team Jaguar is rising up. And I'm thinking Team Jaguar might take it too. So I got that as a soft pick, but there's no such thing as a soft pick. You got to go with your pick. And I'm going Loops, all right? Plus, I love the name, man. Fruit Loop's going big. So, hey, I'm excited to get map number 2. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to have a little bit of fun. Coffee. Like I said, man, you're looking good. I keep looking, and when I really do look over instead of looking at my camera, I'm like, this is an attractive man. And you got a lot of people in chat.
Are you sure you weren't looking at my camera?
PB, you look just as good, baby. You're 6'4". I'm not messing with you at 5'9", all right? Okay, because you crushed me. Coffee, though, you good looking man, all right? Chad was acting up, baby. They love you here, Coffee. You enjoying yourself casting?
I do, and I got to say, coming from a guy that just bench pressed, 230 for 3 reps?
280.
280. Oh, baby. Hey. Okay.
Don't be shorting him. He was trying to get that 275 1 rep max, and he busted out 3 at 280. I see what's going on here. Baby. Hey, I keep tracking what's going on in the gym.
4 years didn't even watch it. You watched it. He didn't even watch it.
I watched it.
I keep my ear to the ground.
I watched it too.
You watched it too, Coffee? I love the both on Twitter. Of you. Gee,
chat, what are you benching? Let us know in the chat. Yeah. What are we benching?
What are you benching? That's a prerequisite actually to get on to the next Scrims match. If you can bench more than 115, you're in. You're in, baby. It doesn't matter how strong you are. As long as you're going to gym and you're progressing, you're doing all right. Hey, we're about to get into map number 2. We've got our predictions in. What are your predictions for map 2? Let's see if the collective brain is smarter than the individual brains here on the desk. You probably, most likely, are smarter than every single one of us. Actually, I can only speak for myself. You're for sure smarter than me. Map number 2, Miramar. Let's get into it. PB Coffee, take it away.
It's my favorite map, Coffee. I love watching Miramar. I love watching PUBG Mobile Esports on it. I love playing this map, man. What are your thoughts on Miramar? Is this a map that you like to play on, or you shy away from it? How do you do the deal in the desert here?
Hey, I gotta say, I know, coming from you, PB, the sniper god, I understand it why you like Miramar. I do like Miramar myself. I think it's a slower paced map. One thing I would like to see in the future is maybe like a Miramar like 2 or this is actually 2.0, right? They changed it a little bit. Anyways, I'd like to see like a smaller Miramar, maybe like a little faster pace. But yeah, I'm all about Chumacera. That would be my hot job, especially with this flight path right there. Starting from Los Llanos going all the way up to Trailer Park and Runes. Yeah, Chumacera would definitely be my drop spot there.
For me, it's all about Hacienda the Patron. The homies from back in the day know this. That is my house. I am the boss. I'm taking that gold Murado for a spin, baby, after looting up all that level 3 gear at La Hacienda the Patron. But San Martin, also a nice little rotation spot there. I like those areas on the map. Very central, can get to anywhere. And then obviously you've got Picado, the hot drop. Curious to see which of these teams is going to hit up Picado. It's always an interesting fight. Looks like there may actually be no one going there. I don't know for sure. Loops maybe, but it looks like everyone is flying over Picado. That means a really valuable loot location, probably one of the best on the map, is a ghost town currently. And look at this zone. It's a quarter of it in the water. That is not common for Miramar.
No, exactly. And we got the Panthers and we got Influence Chemin both dropping on the East Coast there, Impala. I do believe that Influence Chemin might actually drive up. That's why they jumped early. They might try to head over to El Zahar, but we'll see. Again, like you said, Picado being open for any teams out there. We do have 2 teams over in Monte Nuevo. They're going to go toe-to-toe there.
I want to see a fight. I want to see a drop-down, drag-out, Old Western gunslinging saloon battle going on here. It's YKG Chico. Does he have a crossbow on him? Did I see that right? What?
Well,
oh, hey, no, it's Dope Esports again. Not again.
All right, your clip art, YKG versus Dope Esports here early on. But yeah, crossbow, you got to pick up whatever you can, especially in a hot drop like that. I mean, they're fighting with no helmet. They're fighting with very little gear, and that's gonna be a tough one for both of these teams because they're not trying out.
Chico's going 1v4 right now and somehow surviving. Fears gets clipped on the side, but it's not looking good for YKG here. Did I just pick, again, the team that's going to get wiped first? Like, what the heck is going on? Ooh, nice support there from Joey. That's going to give him a fighting chance right now. Chico escapes just barely and does not ultimately get away. Joey on the way in here. 2 players down. We'll see if he chooses to just let him go or if he's going to save himself here. My guess is Joey's going to back off of this fight.
Yeah, especially being the last one standing there for your ooh, no, there's no way of getting out of there. Dope Esport will find him, and YKG PB will be the first team eliminated here on Miramar.
Oh, darn it. Why?
I don't know.
I'm done predicting things for the rest of the day. I'm not joking, in Season 0 and Season 1 of Titan Series, I got like half of the games right. And now I'm getting them definitively wrong. What's the opposite of undefeated? It's defeated. I'm just defeated at this point through 2 games. I'm batting 0. It's no good.
Okay, you know what? I'll be nice with you, P. What about you pick a new team? What will be the next team eliminated?
Oh, criminy. Ask me who's going to win, and then let's flip the script there. I don't know. I'm going to go with Influence Chemin. That's who I'm going to say is going to win this game.
All right, I like that. But yeah, Dope Esport coming in clutch there on the hot drop, 4 eliminations early. YKG might have to rethink it. I mean, these are 2 teams who are qualified for the next stage, right? So, I mean, if you're hot dropping and you're losing the hot drop, the other team's making a statement. I'm just saying.
Got N-Hyper doing their split drop thing, getting all looted up. Curious to see if they can get that momentum going as a squad, because again, this is a dangerous team. If they can get those elims starting to roll, because I mean, individually, they've got players that can put up 1,500 damage in a game. They can get 10 elims in a game, and they're just stacked top to bottom. But it's not always turned on for them. They have to seemingly flip that switch of aggression where they go from survival to dominance. And I'm curious to see if they choose dominance early on or if it waits until they feel like they need it. But we'd love to see N-Hyper early on get aggressive.
Yeah, and as you saw right there, I think Flamengo might actually try to just get some angles. We had some players that were rotating out, but yeah, that Brazilian team, again, they're playing aggressive. We have the difference there. NA more of a we have more of a passive mindset there, and the Brazilian teams, if they smell blood in the water, they're going for it. So there you go. As you can see right there, we do have Flamengo Esports who are now pushing over, squeezing Hyper Esport. in a really tough spot. Rin underneath the, how you call that, oil tank.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's the right word. I just don't know if that's what those even are. We got Flamengo putting out pressure, man. These guys aren't shying away from fights, and I actually like that. They're getting into it early on, and they're flushing and Hyper out, forcing them to try to rotate. You know, you got, who was that? Was it Rin that was going underneath there? It's like a sewer rat, man. He's like, I'm just going to go underneath down here. I'm going to own this underground. I'm going to come up on the other side. Felt like there were some freaking Ninja Turtles or something, but I see a little off angle developing here. You saw Flamengo go up top onto that cliff. Would love to keep an eye on that. But first, over to Loops. We've got the Chosen crashing on them.
Yeah, and once again, as you can see right there with Mythic, he's got that shotgun. They, the meta does not change from map to map now. If you got a shotgun, especially when you're pushing buildings like this, that's like almost like your only way out. And we have one team that is going full aggressive, and Mythic is in trouble. Or maybe not. Ooh.
Wow.
Dude, I think he's in trouble. Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to get that heal off. That's all he wants to do is heal.
Yeah. Now it seems like Loop might... No, Noop is down to... Okay, they're down to 2 players. I thought he was the last one.
Ran out of bullets there in the DBS. Unfortunate for him. The big 0 there means he's probably headed back to the lobby here shortly, but still a chance for Loops as the Chosen trading bodies. Gaji on the ground, Stellar on the ground. It's up to Ayala right now. He's the last one left, and it's a 1v1 at this point. Winter picking up the elims. Oh my gosh, the drop shot fails, and the Chosen out of here. Loops will live on. You gotta love that. Coffee, Loops somehow survives.
I was about to say, Reflection, you ready to pick a new team? But nah, Loops came in clutch. Ayala saved it for his team, but they're down to 2. That is one thing on Miramar. You don't want to be stuck in a solo V squad or a 2v squad there situation later on, because on Miramar, it will be all about, having those splits. The splits will be what will make the difference there in the end game.
Absolutely. Taking a peek over at Storm. They're already out in the blue zone here, taking a little bit of that early game light damage. Not too worried about it, but as that zone continues to move, I want to see if this sucker hard shifts. I've been waiting for a finish on those 2 islands out there for as long as you can say PUBG Mobile, and we are not going to get it this round. One of the rarest end zones that you could possibly find, but it's going to center up on La Bendita and Los Leones, and that's an interesting one. It could go out of the city, or it could be smack dab in the middle of it. We'll keep an eye on that zone, but teams jockeying for position. Everyone in vehicles right now, it seems, with the exception of like ATON, who is pretty happy with their position on that ridge looking down into the city.
Yeah, exactly. We got Storm, who finally made their way inside the zone. Execute not too far behind them, so I don't know if there will be... I don't know if Storm will be able to see that they're being chased by Execute, but... yeah, once again, I got to say, Miramar, there's so many hills. There is, so many buildings, hills. At this point, at this stage of the game, if you're getting into a fight, it's because you want to. Because, again, there's so many places you could just, chill. Wait for now.
Speaking of waiting, up on the top of that hill, Jaguar is just lying in wait, waiting for those heads to pop into their scopes. They're going to be adorned with those 6Xs and 4Xs up there, trying to get those busy. But you love the high ground here on Miramar. So many vertical changes in elevation really makes for some interesting dynamic fights. But oftentimes, this is what I always find is I get in these fun, really engaging battles, but I can't do anything about it, right? Land that 350-meter snipe, but it's like, well, by the time I push it, they're going to be back up, and it's not even going to matter. So what am I actually doing here? That's something that these teams have to figure out and try to balance. If they get those knocks, do they actually try to make something of it, or do they just try to weaken some armor before they inevitably meet later on?
Yeah, and as you can see, there's not too many players out there using snipers. The fact that, at that skill level, with how accurate they are with those, with those M4s, with those scars, the need of a sniper rifle is not really there. This is why the meta is not changing from map to map. Because again, it is easy for these players to beam people at 300 meters. For you to connect with that one shot with a sniper rifle, they could do the exact same work with a 4X or a 6X on an M4.
Absolutely. You see these angles coming in clutch here for ATON. They are up top, looking down into the city. He got good cover from the rest of the team there. Overnight trying to provide that cover. You got Rise in the background laying down that lead, trying to hold down that suppressive fire. So good ups on them. And love this little angle here looking through the doorway. We'll see if he can land any of these shots here. Unknown, trying to peek off into the distance, making sure he can avoid that third party and really trying to locate these players. He sees one of them, Milos up on the top there. Definitely has a beat on him, but you can't stick out your head because the likes of Zohan off in the distance, they're going to take it clean off.
Yeah, exactly. Overnight, they're able to collect some information there, but the thing is they can't do nothing about it. So they know there's a team on that hill. The only thing they can do is try to make sure, they don't get their helmet taken off. But man, beautiful car there before Federal. Whoo, how many exhausts is there? How many exhausts, BB?
I have no idea.
3, 4, 5. Woo.
I can't count that high, dude. I only go to like 2.
Wow. Very nice looking skin there for Federal.
Absolutely. Federal, it makes him go like at least twice as fast, clearly, if you get this skin. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Would need to be scientifically tested, but at least you feel with that red streamer coming out the back, you got to feel like really cool driving through the desert.
Yeah, again, we're talking about the skill level. The fact that he's able to drive through these hills like that, not slowing down and not flipping a vehicle, that says a lot about, their experience and their skill level. We got Loops there, not too far off. We got a lot of Brazilian team close to each other. But when it comes to the Latin teams, Overnight has not moved. Unknown, I think he's got a good spot and doesn't want to get caught, rotating, getting out there.
Absolutely. 12 teams alive in this one. Got to give a shout out to the chat and everybody for showing up. It looks like we do have got some folks from LATAM and South America tuning in as well. Ariel says, ¿Hay transmisión en español o portugués? No, not at the moment. So right now solamente en inglés, pero pronto posiblemente, tal vez. Who knows? Hopefully we can deliver some other languages and regions soon. Never know.
Yeah, especially with the Brazilian teams that are out there. They're not going anywhere. They're gonna move on to the next stage. But one thing that I'm surprised right now is that we got 2 of them. We got the Flamengo and Loops down to 2 players. But for all the other remaining teams, they got their 4 players up. So again, these the NA teams looking good.
So far, so good, except for YKG and Hyper and the Chosen. All 3 of the NA teams are sitting on the sidelines currently, but Dope Esports on the top of the leaderboard right now with those 4 elims and 4 still up. You love to see that. The Panthers still in it right now. Execute still in it. So not all has been lost for NA just yet, but Flamengo, I got to say, has been a standout for me so far. Super active, getting busy. Only 2 members remaining right now. Caught the business in of someone's rifle, but I like what I see from them, and ultimately aggression and elims, especially in a tournament like this, it's so important with the new scoring system. Only 10 points go to the chicken dinner winners and 6 for second place, 5 for third, 4 for fourth, etc. So those high ranks aren't as crucial anymore compared to that aggressive play and picking up those elims when you have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, exactly. With the new scoring system, elims are way more important than actually getting the chicken dinner, like you said. But yeah, I mean, that is one thing that some teams still have to adapt to. Because a lot of these teams in the past, they were playing super passive. It was all about getting that chicken dinner on top of getting the kills. But now you got to play a little more aggressive, but still manage to get into that. I think it's top 6 to at least get 1 point.
Yeah, the top 8 will all get points. The 7th and 8th get 1, and 6, 2, 5th, 3, 4th, 4, up to 6, and then first place gets that nice little 10-point bonus. So it looks like Loop's trying for the compound here, and they will be, what do we call this, heavily contested. Somehow, some way they sneak in. You got to wonder, sometimes I wish these teams would work together a bit instead of like shooting at the guy who's shooting the other guys. It's like they want all of those kills for themselves, but unfortunately, no one's getting any because they're all shooting each other here. Dope Esports making it so Loop's actually able to sneak in to this little compound, and they'll take it at this point in the game.
Yeah, Loops are able to get that compound, but one thing that we talked about earlier is the fact that teams that get the higher ground usually have the advantage, right? Because you're overlooking the other teams. For a team to get and push you on top of that hill is super difficult. For Loops, right now, they're more in their survival state. They can't do much, especially having, the Jaguar right above them there on the hill.
I want that Jaguar up there to make some plays, man. He's on the prowl. Seba up there. He's got that gun looking down. He's got to be making some plays. I know he's going to do it.
Yep, and Execute were able to get their first elim there. I did not manage to see who got it, but we got All Glory Gaming, same thing. They are on top. They got the high ground. I think we got Six Legs not too far away. Six will have to be careful there.
Ooh, Influence Chemin under fire here. Flamengo getting busy. Once again, Lil Boy hiding behind the car, able to prolong his life just a bit. And that third party coming in strong from Jaguar at the high ground. Gigante has to get back into the fight here. His teammate's going to revive him.
Yeah, that was a clutch play there. He was able to get out of the fire there. He was one shot away of getting finished. And if he died, that was GG's. His teammate was knocked, and now they're going to be back to 2 players up. But I gotta say, these teams that are still in Los Leones, they're able to get the high ground. I mean, again, it's all about collecting as much information as you can. As the zone closes, you got to start planning what is your next move, because it's starting to squeeze on him.
The Los Leones circle, always challenging, lots of buildings, always makes for some fun end-game fights. So excited to see this one develop as it does move south of La Bendita. And we've got, looks like Royals of War looking up the hill here at All Glory Gaming. Both strong finishers in the LATAM region, 2nd and 3rd respectively. See if teams are starting to clash here as the circle is going to be closing 15 seconds. And we're going to get ourselves a new zone and get some new rotations.
Yeah, Royals of War, we have not talked too much about them on Erangel. I think they were kind of quiet, but here in game 2, again, not too many elims from what I can see from the screen. They're still at 0, but I think for them it's about to at least getting one of the chicken dinners tonight. There's 5, 1 that is already given, so 4 chickens available. If they could get at least 1, put their name out there. It's not necessarily all about elims, but scoring. It's not only about elims. It's also about positioning. So we'll see if they're able to get at least a top 1 or top 2 there.
We'll see. Zone out in the middle of nowhere at the moment, starting to move north of the city, but still those buildings in the north of Los Leones, super valuable right now. Teams have got to be squatting in there, trying to hold those down. Yeah,
beautiful headshot. We got Panthers. Panthers going toe to toe there with wait, what's the team? I can't see. The camera's moving too fast. Is that ATON? ATON, yeah. ATON Esports.
ATON, after I dismissed them and said, these guys never have my love ever again. Well, watch them win. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. They got 2 players up, getting that revive. They're going to be back to 3 players up. The Panthers are not looking too good. Looking at the scoreboard there on the right side, they're down to only 1 player, and there it is. The elim just got done. Nate is out of the game. So the Panthers in a survival mode too, just like Loop Esport.
Hey, coffee, I don't know about you, but you know what wakes me up in the morning that's not coffee? It's the sound of gunshots ringing out on Miramar, man. Listen to that. It's a cacophony of beautiful bullets sounding, ringing through the airs. I'm excited, man. It's starting to pop off here. Influence Chemin getting into it, getting the business into somebody's rifle. We got Toiko going down, and Flamengo's Gigante gets taken down. They'll finish in 11th place. Flamengo, 4 elims. That's not going to be a great placement, but at least they got a little bit of skin off someone's back before they had to head back to the lobby to prep for game 3.
Yes, sir. Flamengo been taken out there in 11th spot. I mean, they did very well there in game number 1. It's okay to have a little setback there, but again, Loops, they've been down to 2 players for a while now, but they got 5 elims. They're on top of that leaderboard, looking good.
I get a giggle out of these hypercars driving through the desert, man. There's something about a Bugatti hitting the off-road that just makes me laugh inside a little bit.
I was actually thinking the same thing earlier. We're talking when you're saying like, hey,
come on. This thing can't even clear a speed bump in a parking lot. It's got 2 inches of ground clearance, maybe. and it's just cruising through the desert like nobody's business. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Just marvel at the splendor of this skin whizzing through Miramar. It's lovely.
I gotta say, that's what's cool. That's what's cool about PUBG Mobile. The fact that you're able to take one of your favorite supercars and drive it in the desert, not really worry about the suspension and any damage done to the car. But going back to the game, we got the zone who's closing again, and I think
who's getting blessed, Coffee? Who's getting blessed? Which one of these teams is gonna have that circle land right on them?
Execute.
No.
Yeah.
Is he gonna get that hard shift? Let's see. Go southwest. Ooh, center's up.
Oh,
pretty fair circle, to be fair. But the news here is I'm really liking Dope's positioning at the southern part of that zone. That means that Overnight is going to have to go through them, and they have the opportunity to still use those buildings if they want. And it looks like they'll choose to do just that as Overnight applies that pressure from the rear. They got to get to zone, and they will connect with Jaguar here on the cliffs in the distance. Interesting shots, but they won't be able to do anything to capitalize.
Well, like you said, the positioning for me, it's a Team Jaguar. They went on top of that hill early on in the game, and they've just been chilling up there for quite a while now. And talking about zone, they don't have to rotate whatsoever. They're good to go even for the next one. So this might be the moment where we're going to see that team pop off and get some more elims.
They're big chilling up there, man. Talk about being center zone with high ground. And I mean, when I say high ground, I'm talking like, this is like Mount Everest high ground here. This is like stupid high. Gotta love, we were talking about getting blessed. I mean, this is essentially as blessed as you can get in PUBG Mobile. We'll see if Jaguar can capitalize. It is their game to lose at this point, but it's a long road to hoe here. 9 teams still left in this one. And you love Jaguar's positioning at this point. They got 4 men alive, but the interesting thing, Coffee, 0 elims at this point, and rank points aren't going to do it for you in the overall standings, so they've got to get busy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Some of these teams still have to adapt to the new pointing system, and I think Jaguar are one of those teams. They might be a little too passive, but again, late in the game like this, a lot of players will be caught on the rotation, and their ability to third party is next to none there. They're on top of the hill. They got to be careful, though. They got ATON, who seems like they want to claim that spot.
They really do. And if Powerbang doesn't believe in them, I think they damn well do it. They'll do it. They'll get in there. They'll get it done.
Yeah, one team that played super aggressive there in game 1 was a Storm. Storm, who was really aggressive, and it seems like they got 3 kills early here on Miramar, but now they just got one of their players knocked. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it to the end there. This zone, if you look at that mini map, PV, how many little circles can you count? Holy crap.
I told you earlier, I can't count past 2, Coffee. I mean, that's a lot of circles, and I'm getting real confused here. All I know is that is the most stressful thing as a caster when you're spectating somebody's POV, and they've got somebody pinned down, and you see that they're just about to make a run for it, and then they move the crosshair. It's like they don't know that they're about to make a run for it, but when they move that crosshair, I'm like, no, man, you had him! And ultimately, it doesn't work out. Storm here in trouble, though, getting into it right now with ATON. And the bodies are starting to drop, Coffee, seeing all kinds of names in the kill feed. And it is that time of the game as ATON returns fire, drops Elizin here. He's got a teammate to back him up, but unfortunately, the push is on. Chuko takes his minivan and sends it. Oh, man, a nice distraction.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see that little zone closing once again. Will a Jaguar get blessed? We got all these teams fighting for. Oh, look at that, PB. I mean, at this point, you got to send at least 2 players. Try to get some third party. You can't just chill up there. You got to do something. Loop's looking good once again. Loop's still at 5 kills. But ATON, they got 7 elims, and they're still 4 players strong, looking really, really sharp.
Dark horse pick right now is Overnight. They're starting to sneak up the backside of that cliff, and I don't know that anyone has noticed them yet. I want to see if Dope Slayers are cognizant of what Overnight is trying to do. You can see they're the yellow on the mini-map, And you can see that vehicle. They're heading up there right now. They actually have the potential to challenge Jaguar. Right now, it's a bit of a battle for second place, but Jaguar's going to have to fight for it. Very curious to see that fight develop. Execute right now in a bit of a buzzsaw. Dope Slayers certainly aware of their presence, and they are making theirs felt. So Execute, really nice job. But look at the fight Overnight here. Starting to develop. They say ATON running up the hill, and they're gaining that position. This is really, really tough for Jaguar, but they're going to try to defend at the top of this hill the best they can.
Yeah, two teams who've been playing fairly passive for the whole game, and it seems like Royal of Wars are making that push finally. If they're able to take out the Jaguars, I'm saying they might be set up to get a lot of elims on top of that hill. One thing I just saw there was that Jaguars were really bunched up. Once again, you know, these players know about these, but throwables, they are so handy, and one nade could have taken out the whole squad there. But look at this. This is Royal of Wars with a second player who got knocked. This is not looking too good. Problem is that...
No, it's not.
Yeah, the problem is that if you look at that mini-map, I mean, there is so many players, you can't really move at that point.
Man, Unknown returning fire there. You could see Royals of War firing those shots down there, and that is why you carry a larger scope than a red dot, because he whiffed every single shot flying down there. Unknown's like, oh yeah, well, let me just return fire with my 3x. And just like that, it was over. So Royals of War trying to defend their turf and ultimately eliminated, getting pinched by Overnight and ATON. ATON looking impressive in the zone, finally starting to favor Overnight and ATON. That dark horse pick here may actually come to fruition as they've got a great little terrain here to try to defend.
Yeah, Overnight, like you said, they here they come. They joined the party fairly late there, but the fact that they're still 4 players strong with only 14 players remaining here, 6 teams total, they are looking very, very good. And here they go. They're going to claim another kill, and it's ATON. ATON just got eliminated there.
Good performance from ATON, though, to bounce back with 10 points in the second game. Love to see that from them after a big goose egg and an early exit in game number 1. Definitely buying back a little of my belief, that's for sure. But one team that should not be at this stage of the game, but are somehow, some way, that is Loops. 9 elims and still 1 member left alive. That's the second game in a row they've taken a shorthanded roster and pressed deep into a game with a high amount of elims. And they're not shying away from these fights. Ayala taking down Hayuya and Robert. Really just eviscerating the enemy teams, and he's all by himself. This is insane play from Loops.
Yeah, we're talking about a global level player there. Yeah, he every at every single stage, you know, he's been showing what he's capable of. These nades, as you can see right there, he's clutch. He's got plenty of them. But yeah, Loops and Execute, 2 teams that did very, very well there in game number 1, are still in the running there for the chicken in game 2. I like what I'm seeing from both of these teams, even though they only got 1 player left. You know, we got some of these Latam teams, you know, that are doing very good. You know, the Overnights that you talked about earlier, they had 0 kills, and now they got 5. Looking good. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by what they're doing.
All of those teams earlier, I was surprised that they actually got the full team up to that ridge. They had that 1 player scouted out, got that position locked down on the ridge. And I was really thinking that, you know, whether it was Dope Slayers or Execute or someone else, they were just going to pick them apart as they try to make a run for the side of the mountain. But ultimately, the best thing possible happened for Overnight, and that was everyone else started fighting with each other at that exact moment, and it allowed them to kind of make their escape. Sixless tries to get away. That'll be the end of him. Loops, somehow, some way, able to pick up another elim here. Ayala is just absolutely going above and beyond for his squad. This is really, really impressive.
I was about to say, wow. The zone takes out the Dope Slayers? Wow.
Yeah, Dope Slayers is out, so it's just about what's going on at the top of the hill right now. Oh, the nade connects. Overnight, that was absolutely huge. Loops picks up another elim right now, picking off the rear of Jaguar. They're down to 1 member. Loops could legitimately win this right now. This is absolutely bonkers.
That's the thing, they could, and I got to say, how confident was Ayala there? He was just, you know, up in the open, waiting for Dope to make a move, and it's Sixless who got caught there. But I got to say, how confident they got to be. He just lowered his pan. I think he's trying to make a little bit of noise, but it is down to a 1v4. Ayala down to 1v4. He can do it. I know he can.
I'm so impressed with this performance by Ayala. Loops here should not have gotten to this stage of the game, but you know what? They did. Impressive stuff. Loops puts up 17 points in this one. Incredible performance from Ayala, outlasting everyone except for Overnight. You can see that starting to develop with that zone position from Overnight. I like the fact they took advantage of that. Really nice job scouting the terrain and moving to a position that they could actually work with versus being stuck in the city. They were actually behind Dope Slayers there for a moment in time. You could see if they actually were able to get to that ridge, challenge Jaguar for that position, that they could pull it off. But honestly, Jaguars got to feel a little bit like they fumbled the bag on this one. They had the zone, they had the high ground, ultimately not able to hold it as all of the teams had their attention focused squarely on them. Coffee, any final thoughts on that game?
Again, I think it comes down to the IGL. You know, maybe that was the plan of the of the match there for the Jaguars. They play passive. If you ask me, maybe a little too passive. You know, this is the moment where you want to start connecting some shots. Maybe get some points on the board there. And I think they were trying to get some third party action going. But they came in short.
Whew.
From game number 1, who was Execute, and then Overnight now first place in game number 2. But one thing that is consistent is Loops. Second place both in map 1 and map 2 should put them comfortably in first place. I would have to assume, but I'm no mathematician, right in line with UPB. And by the way, the answer, exhaust. There was 6. There were 6 exhaust on that card. It was zooming through the desert. And I refuse to believe you can't count past 2 because you used the word bisect in map 1 and it blew me away. I had to look it up. Is that an insect? No, it's the device. I still don't know what it is. Anyways, great map number 2, and I can see why, PB, this is one of your favorite maps. I felt every fight was very unique, and it allowed for a lot of exciting moments.
Always love it when it goes to the high ground on Miramar. It's always super dynamic. You get that verticality, and you got crazy minivans that can just zoom around. Interesting play by Chuko here. I got to shout out ATON Esports, as they actually had the most damage of any team in the lobby. More than Jaguar, even with that high ground, more than Overnight, who ultimately won the map. ATON coming back in a big way after their disappointing game 1. That's got to put them in a really nice position overall on that leaderboard. We'll check in on that in just a bit. But overall, really exciting stuff on Miramar. And again, it did not disappoint from my perspective.
And going to you, Coffee, Overnight, first place. They do so in sensational fashion. Granted, though, at a certain point, I thought Loops, they could literally do anything. Ayala was just tearing it up. Even in a 1v4, you still got to count them in. But for Overnight, what did they do? What was the secret for getting first place in map 2?
You know what? I think the fact that they started, they started slow, and they were able to clutch in second speed there at the end. I gotta say, I'm gonna look into Overnight for game 3. You know, I think at this point they got the momentum. They got the momentum, especially with the how this game ended there on Miramar, and the chicken with 8 elims, 18 points. That's looking really good for them.
Huge. And ATON as well, PB. I know there was a joke, right? You picked them. They were eliminated first off in map 1, but 6th place from last place to 6th place. Not bad at all from them. One team, though, that did not perform well was again your pick, sadly. And I hate to even throw it back to you, but YKG, last place. So both of your picks last. Tough break, but YKG, I mean, hopefully they can make some adjustments, do better in map 3.
I
As he
gotta
sits
say,
back.
It's more like, it's not YKG, it's like, why KG? What the heck is going on over there? What happened? Why did we fall apart? Why the fight early on? Why was Chico? Why? That's what I want to ask here. Chico was 1v4 for like an hour, and no one rolled up to help. And when Fierce finally rolled in, just immediately got his head blown off, and Joey rolls. I don't know. It was just a mess that time. Hopefully we can tighten things up for this next game. You know what, YKG? I've seen you play before. I might just pick you again. I haven't lost faith just yet.
Couldn't hear you in Discord, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if it broke PV, but I'm sure production heard you, and that's okay. That's okay, man, because you were passionate, and that passion broke the mic somehow, some way, man. YKG said PB enough. They said YKG said PB enough, man. We're okay. Map 3, we can be all right.
I was basically just expressing that I appreciate YKG. I've seen them play before.
Sure.
I'm sure they'll be back. They might get my vote once more. It's not over for them just yet.
ATON didn't get it. Will YKG get it? We'll see. But Loops might continue to be a favorite of mine. Coffee, thank you for putting me on. We're going to take a little break. 2 maps down. When we come back, 2 more will be coming your way. We have 3 total still for the day. So a lot of PUBG action left to get on turn. We'll see what's going to happen after the break when we come back. Welcome back, everybody, to Titan Series, America Scrim, day number 1. That's right, we still have day 2 tomorrow. So if you missed out, at least on the beginning of this, you got a lot more today, 3 more maps, and a whole entire day tomorrow. I'm Taylor Reflections, double your host, joined by the wonderful casters, PB, Power Bank, plus Coffee, who's always got the coffee going. Love that. I even had to go get some coffee myself. I made it at 11 a.m. It's cold as ice, but I had to get some coffee because caffeine's good. So, Coffee, how you enjoying today, man? Seriously, the matches have been great.
Yeah, like we were talking a little bit there on the break. This is my first time doing this, and I gotta say, it is exciting to the next level. I do custom rooms, on a weekly basis.
Sure.
But being able to cast the Titan series there, with PB, with yourself, it's I don't know. I'm letting everything just sink in there. It's fun.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job, baby, and I know the crowd, they're loving you and saying some wild things like wives are temporary, casters are forever. I don't know. PB, man, it's great to see you here, of course, calling the action. It's great. And actually, I think you wanted to run through the standings. I know our standings, from map 1 to map 2, maybe a bit loosey-goosey, but you're good at math. Who's looking the strongest so far?
Right now, we've got a tie for first place overall.
Oh, no kidding.
Ooh, any guesses as to who it might be after
Has to
2
be
games of
Loops
play
and
here?
Execute.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is Execute and Loops sitting on top of the tables right now. Execute getting the tiebreak by Chicken Dinner. They're sitting at number 1 and number 2. We got Overnight in 3rd place off the strength of that Chicken Dinner in game number 2. Dope Slayers, a bit of a consistent performer so far in 4th place. Flamengo in 5th. And then we got the top 8 rounded out by Storm, Team Jaguar, and All Glory Gaming. Notable right now in 16th place is Enhyper, currently with 0 points. So they've got to pick things up. Again, that passive play that they need to avoid. They got to get aggressive. My eyes are on Enhyper here in game number 3.
All right, Enhyper is going to be your team to pick. Coffee, what about you real quick?
Ooh, I'm going for Loops again. I'm going for Loops. Yep.
I mean, Loops is a solid pick, and I guess I'll switch it up to I'll go Execute. I mean, tied for first place, but also they showed to me in that map number 2, despite it not being the most high kill game or high elimination game, they still were able to play that gatekeeper role starting on the dead end of the zone and then work their way through and placing 5th and then having, I think, at least 5 or 6 eliminations and that carried over. It wasn't, a star-studded at game 1 with like 12, 13 elims, but it was still impressive to me. So as we head into Sanhok, right? First time today, and I can't wait to get into Vikendi, but that'll be map number 4. But Sanhok, we're about to head into it. Drop is going to be going shortly, and PB Coffee, this is going to be an exciting one, so we've got a little bit of mismatch when it comes to our predictions, and I pray for Enhyper that they are not eliminated first. So let's get that curse out of the way, PB. I hope you're right, baby. So PB Coffee, take it away from map 3.
All right, I'm feeling a little safer. There's no way Enhyper's getting eliminated first. I'm going all in, and I'm saying that it will not happen. They split drop, so catching them all in one place early, it's going to be really hard. Now, if they somehow manage to I quit, Coffee will have to handle the rest of the broadcast yourself. So if they get eliminated, I'm walking off. That's it. But you're going to see Enhyper go south down by Sami, in between Camp Charlie and Ruins, basically all over those compounds down there. The North American teams tend to respect that drop zone, but I have no idea if the LATAM and Brazilian squads will do the same. You can see Rin there on the minimap. Kindness down a little bit further south, but they are not alone so far. Curious to see how this develops.
Yeah, well, like you said, PB, we're looking for more from coming from Enhyper Esport, and same thing for YKG. We're talking about probably most likely the top 2 teams here in NA, and tonight it's not going in their favor. But there we got the Panthers. The Panthers going toe to toe in Paradise Resort, and I think this is a fight between 2 different regions. So this is one of the things we're talking about earlier. And it's just like that, the Panthers will be able to eliminate a squad, and this is one thing we're talking about earlier. Some of these teams will have to adapt. They might have to change their drop spots because those drop spots might actually be contested.
And contested it was. The Panthers contested the heck out of that one. 4 elims early on in this one. One team already back to the lobby. Paradise Resort secured. The Panthers getting off to an early start in this one. I actually almost picked them to win this game. It's a good thing I didn't, because the fight would have gone the other way had I done so. I have this feeling.
Yeah, and one thing that we can see here on the map is that Hyper Esports, they're all the way down there. In Sami, they got Rin, who is a little higher up. He's got his eyes on Loops, but when it comes to Enhyper, they're not going to be taken out early with their drop location. Here we got Storm. We got Storm going toe to toe there with All Glory Gaming, and well done. I think they got one elim, 2. No,
something
1.
like that. It's an interesting strategy by Storm there. Multiple players on their team just hit the crawling position and just start crawling furiously at the front line of the enemy. And Pereira uses it as bait and gets the finish. I haven't seen that one before, but it looks like Pereira is going to adapt the strat and try to use the same one. So we'll see if they can overcome their Storm in a bit of trouble early on in this one. All Glory Gaming coming out strong.
Yeah, definitely in trouble there, especially with the split they had going on. I don't think they that was part of their their plan. And All Glory Gaming, there you go. They just got their third. And at this point, you know, you don't if you're Storm, you turn into a survival mode. You know, you don't want to push your last one up. It's gonna be a tough one for Storm here on Sanhok.
Absolutely. Ellison's like, I'm out. I'm gonna go find another place. Maybe take a little swim. I don't know. He's heading over into sketchy territory, though. You see the quick rotation here by YKG, notoriously dropping in. Boot camp going after Influence. Chemin and Joey getting caught on the roof. That did not trick Law. And just like that, 2 members of YKG out of here. And they were down a member already coming into the lobby with just 3, and they've got just 1 member left. So YKG struggling a bit to start off things here. The good news, though, guess who didn't get their prediction completely wrong out of the gate? That's me. And Hyper still alive, all 4 members. I am celebrating already, even though there's still 14 teams alive.
Yeah, the one thing we can see here on Sanhok is, you know, how fast we can get some action. You know, it can go from, you know, the teams that are just looting to a few seconds later, you know, a team being fully eliminated. So that was the case there for, especially on the drop. And if you pay attention to the points, we already got a couple teams on the board there. You know, we already have like what 10 eliminations total, or maybe a little less, 8. I didn't keep track, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of points on the board already, and we are still in stage 1 there on Sanhok.
There's at least 2 elims. I know that much. So maybe more.
Yeah. Well, hey, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we've got some early fights on Sanhok, 48 alive right now. You know, I'm curious to see how this circle shifts. Again, pretty central right now, pretty friendly to all the teams. No one really like in a crazy position at the moment. Everyone kind of friendly to the zone. But Ella's in here currently playing this quite cautiously as he is the only guy alive from his squad. And with that, he's lit himself on fire, it looks like. This gun is flaming. It is amazing. I love this skin.
Yeah, pretty awesome skin there. It got me confused for a second early, but I think he's got to be careful because we do have loops that are coming down the hill. And if he does make one move, he might actually catch 1 or 2 players from loops. But got to be careful. Mythic right there. Mythic coming over with the shotgun. Oh! Wait, how did that work out?
Well, they got each other, so that's that. And it looks like and Hyper might have heard some shots, and they certainly have now. Rin getting fired at from distance. Loops, no stranger to getting some action on, and Cartizan firing from distance, connecting quite a bit. Shifan connected from the off angle there. Aton and Chuko taking him down from behind. Shifan is looking a bit out of sorts early on in this one.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed here on Sanhok is that, you know, you don't have as many buildings and as many places that the players can drop to get their loot. So most of them, if you pay attention to, their utilities, they don't have that. They don't have plenty, right? Compared to Miramar, compared to Erangel, we got some players fighting with, with only like 1 smoke or maybe like 1 molly to push, you know, it's the gameplay is a little different there on Sanhok, right? It's more about positioning, and then, you know, when it comes to looting, well, hopefully you're able to loot, you know, the crates of your eliminations. That's I think that's the strategy there. But YKG down to only 1 player. We got Chico there in a boot camp. He's got to be really careful. He's got the whole team there, dope, pushing over. This is gonna be a tough one for him to win. A 1v4 situation, but he's got that shotgun.
He's going to be just fine. He's got this. It's fine.
Yeah, well, hey, 1 knock is not the whole story, right? It's not over. And there it is. That's what I was saying. You know, it did not work out in his favor. So he goes back to the lobby. YKG not looking good for a 3rd map in a row. You know, the good thing is that after Sanhok, we got Vikendi coming up, and they've been practicing on Vikendi. So, you know, I don't want to play spoilers, but I do believe that YKG will do good on Vikendi.
Ooh, Zuko!
Zuko with that shotgun.
Oh man. That was so close, Coffee. He almost had the 3-piece there. Unfortunately for him, just not quite enough. He got that guy down to like 2 HP, but had to put another shot into him to finish. Ultimately got taken down by the team. But Quan covering from range here. We'll see if he's a... Uh-oh, no, Quan, that's the wrong way to look, bro. Oh, man, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, really
just
unfortunate.
Like Panthers are gone.
Chemin. Yep. Well, are they?
They got one member left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they already have 5 points, BB. You know, it's not the... Okay,
now
they're
gone.
Yeah, they're gone now. But they got 5 points, you know. Better than, you know, other teams that has not done as
like
much.
YKG, for example, with 0.
I didn't want to name call, but yeah.
I'm gonna. I said I believed, and now I'm losing faith. I'm very fickle, you know, game by game. I'm an all or nothing type of dude. So influence Chemin up the hill. You know, I'm liking ROW here. Starting to get into the action. That's Royals of War. And again, 3rd place in LATAM for PMPL. Solid performance. And Rin figured, you know, let's go light ourselves on fire. Awful close there. Avoids the flames. Gets the finish. And Hyper on the board. We're rolling, Coffee. We're getting this prediction right. Get ready for it.
Yeah, I kind of like it. You know, again, Rin who hurt himself with the Molly. Is it that 2 games, not in a row, but two out of 3? Ooh, beautiful nade there by Kindness. I think Kindness should bring Rin on the side and you know, teach him how to use those throwables. I'm the one to say that. I actually yeah. Let's not talk about it. Some people in the chat might actually make fun of me. Yeah, that's my thing. You know, I'm gonna cook a nade for a little too long and it blows up in my face. I'm like, ah, man, really? Oh.
I can relate. I know exactly what you're talking about there. And Hyper holding down the bridge here. ATON fires some shots and misses most of them until the very end. QZZ goes down. Milos there may go for the finish, maybe not here. QZZ back under the bridge. Milos is going to try to push that. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's running back and forth.
Woo. Milos will get a second knock there on Hyper Sport. And now we got 2 players. Shifan, his teammate, full sending it. Can Shifan clutch it? He's got that UMP. And there you go.
That's great teamwork there.
Yep.
They were able to put that pressure out on Milos. I mean, I mean, honestly, he should have finished those ELEMs, knowing he got 2. I mean, it's not likely that the whole squad is stacked on that same location. Probably could have gotten them finished. Ultimately, the team full sends it and able to protect their people.
I was about to say, Connor, that was a risky play for him. You know, he was by himself. He was the last one standing. There's no reason for him to push. And I think it was more of about getting that vengeance more than anything else.
Pride. It was an ego play right there. ATON trying to come back in and get that revenge like you were saying. And ultimately, it wasn't meant to be. But good news for Hyper. They had their back against the wall there. They were actually tested. They had multiple players down, probably should have gotten flushed, and somehow, some way, they make it out of there with 4 alive and a squad wipe, so you know they've got to be feeling good.
Yeah, the one thing I did like here, you know, on that play is that the fact that they had 2 players down, and I don't know if you noticed how quick they pushed with that buggy. You know, it was like, hey, we can't lose 2, right? We got to be 4 players. We got to have those extra teammates there get ready, you know, for the end zone, because at the end of the day, you know, in about 6 minutes, we'll be talking about, you know, the top 5.
I was so scared that he was going to send that buggy and hit his own guy and do like collision damage and take him out. I was going to laugh so hard, but ultimately just missed him. And love this spot here from Gajier. Look at the sight lines here. You can see basically the whole map. Like, this is pretty incredible.
It is incredible. One thing I got to say, like you said earlier, Royal of Wars, who did pop off early. They got 3 elims, 4 players strong still, and I want to see more from the LATAM teams. You know, here on Sanhok. I want to see maybe like a two of the 3, you know, two of their teams finish in a top 3. LATAM, you know, like I said earlier, it's a region that I personally have not paid too much attention, but I got to say they're actually grabbing my attention tonight.
They are forcing you to watch them. They're grabbing your face and pointing your eyes at their teams. LATAM getting it done early on in this one. All Glory Gaming has been in the mix quite a bit tonight and been impressive so far. Also, Overnight, a chicken dinner already to their names. They're going to try to repeat here in Sanhok to back things up, but Rise on the wrong end of that exchange. He's going to go down. Ultimately going to get picked off here. Teammates not able to pick him up. They're heading to zone. And it's really too bad for Rise, but, you know, they're going to have to figure it out with 3 players here.
Yeah, exactly. That's another team that are going to be down to 3 players. I mean, they have not done too much, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna wait. This is the point where there's less players on the map. You know, teams are getting better when it comes to their loot. They have more utilities to work with. But one thing on Sanhok is you gotta have those great shoes. You know, gotta have those mountain boots, because it's all about running for the most part.
That's right. You got to get those track cleats on, you know? Get that traction, get that grip. One interesting little factoid here, only 6 teams right now at full strength. Everyone else missing some members. So a lot of interesting fights early, a lot of shorthanded squads, but just 6 right now remain out of the 10 with a full squad. EnHyper Chief among them, 4 points already. Picking up some momentum. They desperately need it after a goose egg on the first 2 maps. I think they're going to get it done, Coffee. I'm confident.
I like to say I'm confident too. Like you said earlier, they got to pop off. And the one thing the one thing I'm looking here on the scoreboard is the fact that, you know, we don't have a team that is you know, well, okay, EnHyper, never mind. I was about to say we don't have a team that's kind of popping off on the scoreboard, but EnHyper will get that 5th point.
You wait for it. You know, I'm not gonna strike out tonight on predictions. We're gonna get one. Maybe it's this game, maybe not. I am not going out without a fight here.
She found with
picking up another there.
Oh, what a beautiful angle. Nicely done. But yeah, EnHyper 6 points. 6 points.
How did he not take down QZZ there?
I don't know. I thought he
got him. I think he thought he got him too. He just ran away. Like it's like when you shoot the 3 in basketball and you start trotting back up court and it air balls and you're like hyping up the crowd. That didn't work out for him. You know, that was kind of a little bit of a miss. Definitely should have had that elim, but unfortunate for him, QCZ gets away. I think they'll take it, man. Everything pointing towards this being the game for EnHyper right now.
And pay attention here to the map, PB. We got a zone that's slowly shifting towards boot camp. It seems like, and you know, boot camp could be an awesome end zone. But yeah, when it comes to EnHyper, they will have to make their way. If you look at the path they got to take, they're going to be running into some really strong squads. Loops is waiting for them. We also got Influence Chemin that is not too far off. I mean, we got so many teams. It's going to be a tough rotation there for EnHyper.
Good news is they got some vehicles. It's going to make the rotation a bit easier. So does the likes of Influence Chemin here. Kayowski and Stellar comes out of the ground. And Supig also from behind here. Oh, unfortunately for them, Kindness is going to go down. They are going to get the finish. And EnHyper is going to... Oh, maybe he doesn't go for the finish. I'm kind of shocked, honestly.
Well, I think he's kind of shocked himself because, you know, he's by himself. He's got to be careful.
He just burned his teammate alive. QZZ, brother. What?
I do.
Oh,
well,
no.
You know, PB, at the same time, when no one can see him, maybe point the rock where he's like, hey, molly me. By saying that, you know, the teammate knows that the enemy might be right on the other side of that rock, and he went for that molly. But, you know, again, these are tough angles. I got to say, these are really tough angles to connect with. And at the end of the day, it did not pay out. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I think no team's got that point.
It's like the military calling in air support danger close and just being one click off, you know? It's like, oops, got my own position there. That was a bit of an accident. My bad. But, you know, unfortunately for this case, QZZ, I thought he could have been revived there, man. And just like that, Kindness says, you, sir, messed up. We will play the rest of the game without you, and sent him to a fiery inferno.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, PB. We got Execute, who know they kind of popped off there in game 1 and 2. They're playing a little more passive. The fact that they lost 6 less, he is back into that coach spot, right? He's in the IGL spot, you know, making the calls. But I think, you know, that's a team that will kind of take it easy here on Sanhok.
Absolutely. Another team still in it right now at full strength. That's kind of, again, been consistent tonight. That's Dope Slayers, still with 4 alive.
Yep,
Dope Slayers getting it done tonight, man. They're slaying dopely.
Yep, Dope Slayers in Royal of Wars. You know, they got the foot on the gas pedal, and you know, they got 3 kills. 4 players strong. Looking good.
Taking a peek at those sightlines. Dope Slayer still occupying boot camp. It's got to be one of the most optimal places to hold right now, but ultimately, it's usually good for a high placement when that circle center's up there, but it almost never seems to land inside the camp. You always have to make that late, push out and try to run across the open field, because if it doesn't land on boot camp, it's hell trying to get out of there, man. You got to cross open fields. It's really, really difficult. But I think they'll take the assured high placement and the cover of those buildings in exchange and just roll the dice with what they get later on in these circles.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say as well. Boot camp is great, but the thing is, if the zone shifts and you got to run out of boot camp, that's gonna be a tough one, especially with Jaguars on top of that hill there. They have oversight, and this is exactly what's happening. That's gonna be a tough one for Dope. I don't know how they're gonna manage to get out there, but they do have Wars on the north hill there, and they're gonna be looking down for sure, unless they try to get one of those compounds, which I believe is what they're doing. They're all in the rotation.
Yeah, Royals of War crashed that immediately. Dreams just immediately smashed. Like, hey guys, it's clear. You're going to see them take up that compound. They're going to freeze execute out of it, which is interesting. The execute only has 3 players left, so playing a little bit passively. Royals of War having a full squad right now, one of 4 squads left to have that, and they will get optimal position right now in the zone. You can see Dope Slayers trying to make an early push to get that compound by that crossroads there, and it looks like they will do that successfully.
Again, it's tough. It's tough in these situations. They wanted to get that compound, they got it, but they could have possibly leave maybe like 1 or 2 players on top of that hill there with a vehicle, and maybe get those kills, especially if they were to pay attention to boot camp through the early stage of the game. They knew that Dope was there, and now Dope might actually be another trouble on their hands later on by the fact that Dope were able to leave boot camp.
This is a key fight right here.
Yep.
Got Loops and then Hyper doing battle, trying to take this compound by storm. Chief on one side of the road. We got Rin and Shifan on the other. I think they may choose to coexist here. They trade, though. Looks like Jaguar taking down Loops from the side here, as they're also going to be going for this. Third-partied out the wazoo. Loops in trouble here. They got 2 men down, and just Chief remains.
Exactly. I was about to say the same thing. He might actually try to coexist, but the thing is, if you're paying attention to the game feed, that which is exactly what and Hype are doing. They knew there was down to only 1 player, so that's the point where you may either make the push, or now they just saw that they had another team, Team Jaguar, who got the kills. So at that point, I don't know. You're gonna try to coexist with a new team, or you're gonna try to rotate because the zone did shift.
You can see in Hyper prioritizing zone here, taking this super awesome pickup truck that's ultra fast, and they're exposing their backside right now. They're going to get shot in the back. I can just feel it coming. I'm waiting for that Loops player to peek out the window. Chief is going to stay silent for the moment, but at some point he will become a factor. We'll see when that chooses to become.
Indeed. The one thing I do like what I'm seeing there is the fact that we got an Hyper who left a player behind, which could actually help them. But is that done for Loops? No, he's still up. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that's a nice push. They had a 2-1 split. Hopefully it goes in their favor. They got 90 elims. They got more than triple the second team. They could actually, ease off on the gas pedal. But now they've got QZ who just got caught.
Unfortunate for them, just outside of the circle as well. He's gonna stop there, so he's inside. Might be able to get the revive here, but pressure in from Jaguar. Beautiful molly there. That might be the end of him. It is. QZZ out of here. Rin on fire. Has to retreat for cover. And here's Chief on that off angle. We said he was going to be a factor, and that might be the moment where he is. Another beautiful molly from Seba, and he may have connected once again. It looks like it just missed here. Rin, though, is going to return the favor with some throwables. Nice job. Connects. And Shifan and Rin trying desperately to make this entry to clear out this building, but this has been hard fought right now, and Jaguar's not giving an inch.
No, they're not giving an inch. We're down to a 2v2 here. 2v2 situation. The one thing I do like is the fact that you're also using, the flashbangs. The flashbang coming in play. Rin getting in the building, gets the first knock, and it's down to 2v1, and it is over for the Jaguars. Beautiful push there by Hyper Esports. 12 elims.
There's nowhere for them to go, though, at this point. Looks like they're going to have to heal strat it up. He tries to go give his meds back to his teammate. Unfortunately, can't quite get there. Chiffon has 3 heals and a lot of loot to actually work with here. Multiple players dying in this particular building, so he just needs to get patched up and hope that Chief doesn't land on his compound here. Chief, though, is going to rotate and survive that whole encounter for Loops. And once again, Loops, short-handed, somehow, some way, is making it to these final circles, and I'm really, really impressed with their perseverance.
Really impressed as well. The one thing I got to say, when it comes to Chiffon, you know, there's so many people that died in that compound. He's probably got meds for days, so he can just hang out there. If he could just survive for a bit, we're about to hit a top 5 situation, as we do have Chemin, who just got eliminated just like that. Ooh, that's a big team that just got taken out.
Absolutely. So we got Loops and then Hyper down to just 1. We got Dope Slayers now with 2, and Royals of War in that compound in the north of the zone, still at full strength. So you've got to think that they're the favorites at this point. Curious to see where Execute made their way to in the circle. They were north along with the Royals of War, ultimately not choosing to dive into the circle. We see them there in the distance right now, up on a ridge, and seemingly in good position on the edge of the circle, but I'm curious to see their cover here. We'll take a peek at them in a moment. There they are up the hill. Looks like, who is that? We got Dope Slayers chilling. It's Influence Chemin and Felipe in the circle. The only one in the circle, I might add, at this point, but he's going to have some company here soon. Probably doesn't want it.
Team Execute, who shifts south a little bit. They got themselves a pretty solid spot right on the edge of the zone, but I do like we got one of the dope players there try to sneak up on Loops, who made it to the top 4. Are they gonna make it, you know, in the top 2? Let us know in the chat, guys. Can Loops manage to get into a top 2 situation again? I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed.
This is a spot in the game they shouldn't be. They're now in the top 3, and they're still getting busy. Casper and Execute dealing damage right now. Royals of War suffering from their low ground position. Execute's got this position. They're shooting for their second chicken dinner right now, and Loops is content to watch the fight once again from the sidelines right now. They're just trying to survive and maybe, just maybe, take advantage of a third party. You can see Chief over there with that grenade cocked. Maybe he can land a clutch one onto Execute at the top of the ridge. I don't think they have any idea he's there.
Yeah, well, you know, 1A will not change the outcome of this game unless Royal of Wars are able to clutch on that, knowing that there's only 6 players left. You know, so it's quite simple to, hey, 2 + 3 + 1, PB, you know, it's all small numbers. But I gotta say, you know, 1A will not change the outcome of the game. I do like the positioning for Execute there, and Loops is taken out, and then we're now into a 2v3 situation.
He tried it. I would have probably stayed quiet a bit longer, but he saw that zone starting to close. He was on the long side of it, so he had a ways to run. He knew it was about to be curtains for him anyway, so he figured, let's try to get an elim out of it. Unable to finish off Fairy. Really nicely done from Loops, though, securing another 10 points. You'll love to see it. Ultimately, I would have said, hey, man, that's going to put them in first place with this performance, but Execute is who they were tied with coming into the game. They're still alive, high ground, and the numbers advantage, so Execute really sitting good right now.
Yeah, they're playing aggressive, and they got to be careful because, you know, Royal of Wars were in a really tough position, but it seems like they're slowly picking them apart. We're down into a 2v1 situation, and oh no, it's too late. Execute. Wow, what a performance. What a performance, PB.
That ended awfully quickly, but Execute, a second chicken dinner in 3 games. North America showing up right now in a big way. And it was a team that's not even qualified for Americas. They had kind of a poor performance. They have switched things up on the roster a little bit. And I got to say, the chemistry, fellas, looking pretty good right now. You got to feel like you're in a decent spot going against some of the toughest competition in the region and still coming out on top. That's going to be first place overall for Execute coming out of this game. So big props to them.
Execute, tremendous performance. Like you said, taking 2 out of the 3 games. I mean, that is wonderful. And the fact that, as you mentioned, right, last minute addition and 7th place during the qualifiers. And this time around looking like the best team. We questioned, or at least we had the question, would Execute be able to transition from that high elimination game style, that aggression? Could they then slow it down? Play positioning. Well, I think they represented that positioning quite well on Miramar, our map number 2, where they were playing the gatekeeper role, landing on the dead side of the zone, and then rotating down, then ultimately having a great finish. Execute, looking absolutely unstoppable. Just to throw it out there, was my pick for map number 3. I actually got one, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. So this is fantastic coffee. Execute. What makes them so talented?
You know, it's funny because, you know, I believe you just went off, you know, my top 2 picks before the games actually started. I said loose and execute. I said loose and execute, but no, you know, the one thing I was surprised there by Execute's performance is the fact that they were so passive early on. They lost 6 less, and they're like, hey, we're down to 3, and they played so passive. But at the end, when you paid attention to how many points they got with elims, I was actually impressed. Like, I don't know where they got those kills, but they got them. So good job there by Execute.
Great job from Execute, and good job from InHyper. Your prediction to take map number 3. They do finish PB in, what, 5th place, but 15 points, not bad at all from them. They really showcased what they're all about on map 3.
Absolutely. They can't be disappointed at all. I believe, you know, with their placement points, they have to be probably number 2 overall in the standings on this one. Really impressed with their play. Maybe 3rd, actually. But again, Chiffon and crew got a bit lucky here. The ATON didn't clean up at least a couple of them. Connor crashes in at 12, feeds a little bit more into their kill total. And ultimately here, the Chosen kind of spoiling things a little bit, just popping up, snaking in the grass, ultimately not choosing to rotate. But this Loops team, man, they keep getting caught early on and somehow, some way, keep finding a way to fight on, making it into the top 3, I believe, for a 3rd game in a row. Really shouldn't be there, but somehow they are, and you love to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, Coffee, because Loops is a team that did, in fact, qualify. They're a very talented roster. Even though 5th place for the Brazilian qualifiers, they still make it to compete coming up May 25th and 28th in the PMPL Americas Championship for Spring 2023. Coffee, this team impresses me. Even though they do lose their teammates early on, they still manage to get great placement points and even pick up quite a few eliminations as the zones get closer and closer. This is a talented roster that's representing Brazil well.
Yeah, they like I said, it all comes down to experience, and you know, it's a team that even though they'll be down 1 or 2 players, that's the kind of thing that will not slow them down. The one thing I gotta say there, it kind of hurts for Rolls. You know, Rolls of War, they had the great compound. You know, they had everything going for them up until the last moment, and this would have been an awesome moment for them to pop off. But I mean, you know, the night is not over yet. You know, for all the teams that are there between 9th place all the way down to the 15th place, I mean, it's not too late. You know, even if you only have, like, I don't know, like 1 point, 5 points or something, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you still got 2 games coming up, and they can still do the job there.
Yeah, 2 games, and we're also switching hosts, PB. We were just on NA host, now we're going to South America host, right? And South America's already been playing as well as they've been playing. Now they're going to their host. PB, I'm worried for our NA boys.
I am as well, but I'm not worried about them that much. I mean, Execute is slaying out overall,
Yes,
currently sitting in 1st place overall. You love to see it. Loops right behind them. Incredible stuff. And oh my God, I will say it's a really interesting stat, but after 3 games of play, we have a 7-way tie for 5th. So
no shot.
That's a fun fact.
Really?
Yeah, that's basically everyone in the lobby tied for 5th, but except for the Chosen and YKG, whatever. We'll get there. Anyway,
Wow.
Yeah, so a host change, is that a fact? Is that coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up for Game 4,
right.
Game 5, going to South American host. We've been on NA, and then tomorrow's going to be the opposite, right? So we're going to start on South America host, and then for Game 4 and 5, we're going to hop over to NA host, something to consider. And this is something that I think all the competitors competing today are very used to, right? At least that's the rule set whenever it comes to the actual PUBG Mobile League, so makes sense to me. But as we do switch host, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, though, we're going to be heading into map 4, Vikendi, right? For the first time, and Brazil doesn't have any competitive experience on this map, at least officially. We're going to see how they can stack up against the competition. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, everybody, to the Titan Series America Scrim day number 1. 3 maps down, 2 more to go. PB's excited. Hey, map number 4, right? We're going into Vikendi for the first time, at least for the Brazilian competitive side of things. And they've already been performing well on the NA host. Now as we move over towards the Latin American host, South American host, PB, how's it going to go, baby?
I don't know. I don't know how Brazilians do in the snow. How's it go down there in Rio? You guys get a lot of winter in Brazil? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if it's a thing in PUBG Mobile either. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm curious to see if anybody can knock Execute off the top of the leaderboards right now. This team that shouldn't be here is saying that they should. And so far, no evidence to the contrary. Execute tearing it up so far.
Yeah, not bad. They're leading. Math is hard. What, 8 points over Loops. Loops, though, has... well, I can't even say they've been the most consistent at this point. They have been very consistent. Execute by all accounts. Coffee's been the most consistent, winning not only game 1, but also game number 3, or map 1 and map 3, respectively. Map 2 wasn't too bad either, but it wasn't their highest elim game. They're scary. They really are. And I don't know if... is this... I guess, PB, I'll ask you this. Is this their, like, full roster? Like, 100%? Like, this is the roster they've been competing with for quite some time?
What's that? Hold on. I don't know.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Okay, I'm trying to default to you because I don't know either. But if this is the roster, brother, that was competing and got 7th place in the NA qualifiers, brother, they need to be. Well, from what I'm hearing,
I was impressed. Let's put it that way. I don't know if that's how it's gonna shake out. My guess is they're probably still looking to solidify some things, maybe doing some tryouts and whatnot. Sixless has largely moved on from competitive PUBG Mobile play, but he's like kind of an OG, like always a tried and true ringer. Can come in, can IGL the squad if needed. Really solid player, but ultimately, who knows where Execute's gonna land? But you gotta like what they're doing out there. I mean, heck, maybe they can convince him to come back. 2 wins against this competition. That's certainly positive. That's a good trend.
I would say so. Not bad at all here in the Titan series. Coffee, though, Dope Slayers have been mentioned quite a bit. They sneak into the number 4 position. They're not in that 4-way or 5-way tie, I think it is. In fact, they're actually tied, though, with Overnight. So Overnight, Dope Slayers in 3rd and 4th, respectively. They split that position. They've not been doing too bad either. Dope Slayers, you guys have mentioned them quite a few times throughout the broadcast.
Yeah,
Dope Slayers looking really good. 4th place right now. I just wanted to chime in, Coffee, before you hit it. 22 points, tied for 3rd, actually. Dope Slayers. Coffee, take it away.
I got nothing else to say. No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
Nah, I gotta say, you know, they've been doing great. Overnight, the only team from LATAM, I think the other team that made it to top 10 is in 9th place. So Overnight are kind of the team representing LATAM, looking good. But I got, you know, we're talking about Execute. I want to chip in. You know, I've seen Sixless post on Twitter, hey, should I come back to competitive, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm just saying, Six, if you're watching, dude, you still got it, man. You still got it in you. And I got to say, I don't know what kind of change was done in the roster, but Execute tonight, we're talking about a top performing team. They're doing so well out there, showing even the Brazilian teams, even showing like the Brazilian teams, you know, hey, we're here, you know, hi.
That's right. Hello, they're coming in hot. They're coming in hot and heavy. I'm liking them. I really am. Execute. Can they keep it going? 2 more games, though. They've been consistent. They can remain consistent, even in game. If they have a solid game 4, I think they can take these scrims. You know, no official prize or anything like that, but, you know, still a lot of pride on the line. I know, PB, you said that earlier. These competitors, they want to perform well. Doesn't matter if there's money or placings or standings on the line, right? They want to beat everybody. I mean, they wouldn't be a competitor if that wasn't the case. You don't go in thinking you're going to lose. You go in thinking you're going to win. Even if you're YKG at number 14th place, they don't care. They're looking to go back in game 4 and come back. Maybe it's going to be, I saw that smile. Maybe they're going to come back. YKG's got to do something, though. Come on. They came in as the number 1 seed, at least for the NA side of things, and they're being outdone by Execute, who was number 7. YKG, come on, guys. I believe in them,
Shots
BB.
fired. Shots fired.
Not by me.
I hope you're listening, man. Fire them squad up, man. Hit the battlegrounds with a fervor. I know they can do it. Vikendi, this is a dangerous map for a lot of teams. I think the circle can get wild in Vikendi. Literally hard shifts early on. Almost guaranteed that the first circle will be half in the water somewhere. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of shenanigans we're going to get into early on in this one, and which team that will actually favor.
That's interesting. So, Coffee, let's talk about those water fights, because in other BR titles that I watch, water fights, they're tough. They're tough to fight in, man. Is it the same thing when it comes to PUBG Mobile?
They are, but not really on Vikendi. I don't know too many teams that will be utilizing, the boats. They do come into play, right? You could actually drive all around Vikendi if you wanted to, almost with those boats. So okay. I'm just saying, some teams could actually use them. But once again, I'm looking at the N8 teams. I think they're gonna pop off here. We're definitely gonna see a an M4 / shotgun meta again, especially on Vikendi. This is where it was born. But what do you think, PB? Which team you're gonna cast your spell on?
I don't know, man. I'm over it. I don't know about predictions for the rest of the time here. I feel like I'm just cursing everybody, but I didn't screw up last game. And Hyper actually did pretty well. They're all the way up to tied for 5th, like everyone else in the lobby. So that's cool. Let's go. Overnight. I'm gonna executes 1-2. Overnight's gonna win 2 as well. Let's go with them.
Nice. Okay. If I have to make a pick before all the teams start jumping, I'm gonna go with something wild here, and I will go with. I'll go with my first pick, the Panthers.
Okay. I like it. All right. Where's this circle going to go? That's the question right now. I have this hunch it's going to be super toxic.
What about yourself, Reflection? Want to make a pick or leave it as is?
Loops. If I had to make them, I'm going Loops. I'm going Loops, baby. I think Loops has been performing as well as they have on NA servers. Now we're on Latin American servers. Hey, it's Loops all day, baby. And you know what? They're going to do it by not just leaving one person on the map. They're at least going to have 2 and win, okay? So Loops all the way. That's my pick.
Nice. Good pick. I got to say, even though they have not practiced, the thing is off the screens, if they knew. Ooh, wow. Hey, talking about boats, you're talking about, you were talking about water. We might actually have like a battle like back in the days with the pirates, everyone on boats and jet skis, and I don't know, but that's a nasty zone. Wow.
Hey, it's a race to Dobro Mesto. There is less than half of the circle is land right now, so that's fun. My favorite spot on this map is Vihar, and that's still in the circle, so that's probably where I would head. But Dobro Mesto has to be on everyone's radar right now. YKG into it early once again, and it's against Overnight. This could be bad for my pick. Oh, God, what have I done? Here we go again. Unknown, taken down. Trade so far from YKG and Overnight, and the teams are collapsing. There's 24K in the distance trying to support his fallen teammate.
All right, I got to say something, PB. If YKG does not do too well, for the in the last 2 remaining matches, and the same thing happens tomorrow, they might need a new logo, and I'm about to, I'm gonna pull out my clip arts and do something for them. Maybe I'll be their lucky charm. Who knows?
Well, one team left.
Oh.
And, this is interesting. Or one player left here for Overnight. And can I take it back? They're not going to win this game. I mean, I thought that they might in an alternate universe, but it's not this universe. I don't know who I would have picked in this universe, because that's the one we're in. Maybe Jaguar? Maybe.
One thing we're seeing here on the top right side of the screen is the Influence Chemin, who are doing that rotation. They probably heard the shots. And at this point, I don't think they really care about this fight. For them, I think they're just full sending it, try to get a better spot for, in the next zone. But when it comes to my kind of gameplay, I would actually go all the way to the north side of that zone. And here's a push there by the Panthers.
No way he's looting 2 feet from this guy.
That's crazy, right? That's so funny.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Wow. Well, Overnight is out first. So there's that. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen and keep commentating as though I'm the greatest predictor of all time.
PV. I don't know what to say, but Overnight, that was the only team who was in the top 5 there on the board. The next team was in 9th place. The fact that they're taken out so early with only 2 elims, this is not looking too good for the LATAM region. But again, this is just Scrims. We're only on day number 1. At the end of the night, it's only 50% that'll be played. But the Panthers are like, what is that? They're like Spider-Man jumping from the roofs.
YKG out as well. Another
Wow.
early exit for them. Yikes. Maybe we need to bust out some clip art.
Yep. I'm on it.
right.
But yeah, the Panthers, you know, that was my pick. That was my pick. They got 4 points. They're on top of the board. Looking good, looking good. I can't wait to see where I would like to see the map right now. I'd like to see which team managed to rotate early. Because like you said, with half of the zone in the water, you don't want to be stuck. I mean, Vikendi's big, but you know, once the zone closes and you know we're into the next one after, yeesh, there's not gonna be a whole lot of land left.
There's not. There's a replay here of Fears getting smoked. And then, you know, this was, yeah, I got nothing to say, Coffee. I'm just a little sad right now that that's 3 out of 4 games. I've predicted the winner, and they won last place. So, pretty cool. The odds of that happening are, like, crazy. Because I'm not even picking, like, any particular, like, I'm picking front runners. I'm picking teams that are behind. I'm picking mid-range team. Like, it's kind of wild at this point. It's a statistical anomaly. And I'm going to pay attention because I might set some sort of world record tonight. I'm going for it now.
At this point, I would actually, you know, remove the broadcast from the feed, you know, once the stream is over. And, you know, you could actually repost it as a VOD and pick the right teams. Who knows? But execute in loops. 2 teams that are in, you know, the top 3 going toe-to-toe with each other. Loops lost 1 player again. I haven't seen the Loops with a full team tonight, you know, past the first zone, I believe.
They don't need it. It's just extra people. It's extra weight to carry to the end of the game. They don't need it. Loops is plenty fine with 2, maybe 1. They'll get you to the final circle, get some points. It's fine. No need for 4 players. I think they should just start leaving them in the lobby. Don't even come in with them.
Well, hey, you know, they got those crazy rotations, right? If I'm execute right now, I'd be panicking. Just saying. I'd be running my will.
Just sheer panic. Just scream. Yeah. Give the signal.
Good thing I didn't pick them for this map. I don't think they're gonna be. Oh wait, what is this? How the hell did it get out of there? Wait a minute. 2 seconds ago, 6 less, and Fairy were stuck in that compound here. And they are pushing Loops.
Oh wow! Look at those shots from Chief. That was incredible.
Beautiful shots indeed by Chief there with that M4. Will get the flush on one of the execute players. Now 6less is hurt. He's got to heal, and he's going to get caught there off guard. 6less goes down. This is not looking good for the leaders.
You know, if I was execute right now, I'd be panicking. This is not good for them.
A little late to panic, PB.
Casper can panic.
Oh man! Oh no! The Panthers! Oh wait! Oh, ouch!
Oh no! Well, hey, I feel a little better now that you're in company with me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, all right. Now we can watch the rest of the action. Unbiased, Coffee. This is great.
Yeah, unbiased. Unbiased. It is. Again, can we see the map? I want to see the map. Ay. There we go. Here it is. Beautiful.
All right, so that circle is still dead center on Dobromesto. You love that. I mean, look where that fight just happened. Loops and Chief. I mean, they are so far out of the circle. I hope they've got some meds. Hope they've got some boosts because they're going to need it here, especially as this zone closes here in a minute. That'll be interesting. How you getting into it with Subpig. It seems like these 2 teams, the Chosen and Dope Slayers, always going at it. Man, great work there from Hayuya, but ultimately, it is not he who has the last laugh. It is someone else entirely, and it looks like the Chosen also wiped right there. So both teams back to the lobby. That's tough.
What is crazy is that we are still in stage 2 of PB, and we're down to 9 teams. Can you believe that? I mean, there's
that's crazy.
I mean, that's I don't know. That's not something that we see too often here, especially at this level. You know, usually players do play a little more passive, but when it comes to the Jaguars, they're not playing passive at all.
They're absolutely not. This is really interesting, though, for Vikendi, especially. I mean, it has to do something with that circle being way out in the middle of the ocean, forcing some of those fights early on. But normally, it's like Vikendi's much slower in the first half of the game because everybody has a compound to play in, and teams are just, wow, look at this snowmobile action. This is great.
Oof.
Wow. These types of exchanges, though, you just don't see those a lot on Vikendi early on because teams are chilling in compounds. But this, has been quite the opposite here as we take a peek over at ATON inside of Vihar. Love these little warehouses. Some good loot here.
Well, the one thing that I think we witnessed early is the fact that half of the zone, is water. This almost feels like we're already like in stage 5, right? It's there's not too many like compounds. There's not too many places for these teams to go and loot if they want to be in the zone, because once again in PUBG Mobile, your worst enemy is by far the zone. It will take you out 100% of the time if you stay there. So I mean, this is probably the reason why we got so many teams that went and fought each other early. They got caught in some early rotations, try to get a good compound to loot and get a little bit of breathing space. But yeah, when it comes to breathing space, I mean, not too many teams right now are looking good. We got a few teams close up by Dobro, but yeah, we got a lot of teams that are stuck in the blue, and eventually that blue is going to start chucking.
You know who needs some breathing space? And that's Overnight. They're not breathing at all. They could use some more space to breathe, I think.
That is true.
Zone's about to close here. 4 seconds. We're going to get us a new circle. Let's see if it goes further to the west or if we're going to center up here. It is an interesting one still. Dead center on Dobro Mesto. You got to love Influence Chemin's position here with Federal and Kayovsky just chilling. But they are nice and split. Good visibility there. And fully holding down the city right now. We'll see if anybody crashes on him here shortly. But Influence Chemin's got to be one of the favorites right now to take this one home. It's their game to lose.
Indeed. Full control of Dobro Mestro. And the one thing we're talking about earlier is the fact that there's boats on this map. And I haven't done that many scrims and stuff, but when I did, I actually came up with a strategy. I was like, hey, let's take a boat. We have to do like some sort of rotation like we have right now. And most teams don't pay attention to the water, right? They're also focused on the land. It's what's happening there. We could have a team there, at least send 1 or 2 players with boats and beach somewhere north of Dobro and get a different approach.
The boatate, you gotta love that. And Hyper moving in, wanting to be neighbors with Influence Chemin. Kayowski seeing him move in and really not saying much about it, but alerting his team they may have to be on the defensive here. Looks like Shifon down on his knees once again. He's a guy that's been getting picked on a little bit tonight from Hyper. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to capitalize on that knock here. Federal still on the high ground. Well, I get this like real Christmassy vibe here on the snow maps with people prancing around on rooftops, just waiting for some presents to get dropped down the chimneys, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude, that's crazy. When you said that, I had, you remember, I think it was like in season 2, when they brought the Christmas, they had like the Christmas theme song. Dude, I heard it in my head. I heard it in my head right there.
Like clop of those little reindeer hoofs on the roof, and it's really just people waiting to, shoot you full of holes. But it's fine. My Santa's a little different.
Back in the days when I would watch pretty much every PB video on crate opening and saying like, man, this guy. All right, let's go back to the game. Man, we got Execute, who's now down to 1 player. This is their game to lose, like you said earlier. I think they're gonna drop down probably I think they're gonna lose their top 3 spot if they if we got teams like Loops who do well. I don't remember exactly who are the other teams that were in top 5. Maybe you could refresh my mind there.
Teams in the top 5 right now are as follows. Execute in number 1, Loops number 2, Overnight number 3, Dope Slayers number 4, and Storm chilling in number 5, as well as 6 other teams.
Well, then they're fine. We got Storm with 0 eliminations, 4 players strong, but for the rest of them, they're all eliminated except Loops.
For giggles, I kind of want to name all of the teams that are tied for 5th coming into this game. You got Storm, you've got Influence Chemin, you've got Hyper Esports, Flamengo Esports, Team Jaguar, All Glory Gaming, and Royals of War, all with 15 points coming into this game. So crazy.
It almost sounded like you just named out the teams that are still alive there.
Basically, that's kind of why I wanted to do it. ATON putting out the pressure here, man. This is a crazy fight that's happening. There's a lot going on. Flamengo holding on for dear life, getting those finishes. And looks like, he's going to go upstairs for the heal, but the molly in. Will he connect? It doesn't take much here. Connor getting the heal off. And that will be enough time to get Chuko back in the fight. Both teams opting to regroup, and they are gonna go at it again. Coffee, who you got in this one?
Yeah. You know, I gotta say, the fact that it's gonna be a 2v3, I gotta go with the team that is 3 strong. There's a nade.
We'll see if Fuchs here can get it done. Nade in, doesn't connect. Chuko, is he out of heals? What's good? What's going on here with Chuko?
Man.
Hey, there's Casper making an appearance, a little cameo in the background there, driving by, seeing what's up.
I was saying, you know, this fight has been lasting way too long because another team could actually pull up and at third party the whole thing. You know, when you're ATON, you know, you're in a good spot. But when it comes to the team that is outside, this is a moment where you gotta play a little more aggressive. You know, at least claim that compound. You don't want to be exposed outside. And there it is. I think ATON down to only to Connor. Connor been taken out, and it is game over for them. Whoo! FLAMENGO Esports, Brazil. You know, we're talking about Brazil, who you know, we didn't know how well to do, but look at this right now. I'm just saying, look at this. We got Influence Chemin still alive. We got Loops who's still alive. We got Jaguar. No, not Jaguar. Jaguar from Latam. Who else am I missing? Loops and Flamingos. Okay, we got top 3 teams right now. The top 3. TV.
Hey, love it. Execute, still chilling. Zero elims, but they're still in it. They took up a position in the city next to Influence Chemin. Their Casper able to sneak in somehow. Really heads up play by him, because honestly, Dobro Mesto is one of the easiest places to hide on the whole map. So many buildings, so many floors to these houses. And let's check this zone as it centers up again on Dobro Mesto. So again, you can see Casper in the southwest portion of the zone. He's chilling right now. He's in between Influence Chemin and NHP. So Hyper on that southern side, and FLAMENGO obviously beaten up, but they're going to have to try to work their way in here as well. Currently being gate kept. We've got Jaguar on the eastern side, again, getting ready to face off with Loops. And we'll see if Loops, even though weakened a little bit, if they can actually push their way in and make it to the end of the match once again. Who cares about 4 players? All they need is 2 or 3. It's fine.
Hey, I'm just saying, Loops, we were talking about how far outside the zone they were early, you know, still fighting execute, and you know, they managed to get close to that circle, but the problem is that they got Jaguar waiting for them. And if you pay attention to the map that was shown a little earlier, you know, there's not that many compounds that are still up for grabs. You know, Dobro is such a big town, but the problem is that, you know, we do have Influence German who are taking control of it. So for all the other teams, they gotta sell for small compounds, you know, maybe sheds or somewhere in the mountain where it's really cold.
On the positive side for Influence Chemin, they've got somebody up on the roof, and that's kind of gatekeeping some of these other squads for trying to make their way in. Interesting spot for QZZ on the outside of the city here, just laying down fire. Does get the hit marker onto the first car there. Fuchs getting connected with, and it doesn't look like QZZ is done just yet. Laying down some more shots, but FLAMENGO headed into town. And will they be able to find somewhere safe to hide? It looks like it. Quite the... Oh, man. Just the disrespect on their Koenigsegg's and their Bugattis, man. They're driving $1 million vehicles, quite literally. And, man, just they got to learn how to park with a little bit more care, I got to say.
Hey, also, I got to say, PB, I'm from Canada, right? And I don't know what kind of snow tires they got on, but, man, if I could get a set, please get me in touch.
Absolutely. Good shout there, my friend. I don't know how the Michelin Pilot Sports that are normally on there doing the snow, but clearly they're doing all right. These guys crashing into this compound, leaving a nice little vehicle car lot here for Hyper, and they're going to take advantage here on the push. I can't tell if they grenaded themselves or if that was somebody else.
Yeah, they got slowed down there.
Fuchs.
FLAMENGO did not say their last word. PB, they you know, they're still fighting. And Hyper, you know, they were slow in the first games, but now it seems like they found their confidence, and now they're pushing these teams. While they backed out now. Okay.
They lost a player there down in the back. They got him revived. Shifan able to get back, and I believe it was Ren that went down. But impressive stuff from Hyper to regroup, get back in the fight, go at it in full strength. But I got to say, good awareness here from FLAMENGO. I mean, shorthanded, 2 players. They held off a push there from Hyper. They clearly wanted to crash on them, starting to feel a little bit of that momentum, and had the numbers advantage. And ultimately, they were fended off. And oh, look at this, Book's not shooting.
He's got the angle.
Oh man, that was a tough one. He saw the guy and just waited a little bit too long. Connects though. Huge crossfire there. He picks up 2, gets that collateral damage, and he's going for the finishes there. Fuchs, big plays here for FLAMENGO.
Definitely good, a big play, but I got to say, All Glory Gaming, I think they were able to steal one of those kills there. That third party was real. And just like that, Influence Chemin, who, were in full control of Dobro not too long ago. Now they're down to only 1 player. Sorry, I was about to say only 2 players. Now it's only 1 player. But hey, they got six points. Then FLAMENGO with 7. Hey, we were talking about how we didn't know how Brazil would do here on Vikendi, but I'd say, PB, look at that leaderboard.
And Hyper. Still full strength is what I'm seeing. We got Storm at full strength. Jaguar down a man now. Just lost one to Storm, and they're getting into it. So Storm also down a member right now. Down 2. The nade connects, and it's getting interesting. And Hyper, you got to love their position right now. But we'll take our attention over here to Jaguar and the DBS fest that we have going on in their compound. It's Jaguar versus Storm.
Yeah, I do believe Storm still have they have PTSD from Erangel with those shotguns, but they're using him too. And oh no, just like that, Storm taken out. That
was a tough one right there, man. He ran out with that nade cock behind his back. I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna get shotgunned to death, but nope. He was able to prime it perfectly and take him down. Good plays there, and ultimately Storm will head out in 8th place. Execute finally gets discovered. Casper out of here and back to the lobby as well. They'll leave in 7th, but they do secure 1 point for placement. And now we gear our attention to the top 6. Again, really impressed here by FLAMENGO, and Rojas lands a Hail Mary right on top of him. That was impressive right through that window.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Now they're going to try to strike back. Nade out. And will that hit? Oh, no. UMP versus shotgun. I think that's it. Shotgun wins.
Get that confirm upstairs and then take this fight again. It looks like Shifan getting into it now. Picked off by Strap here. We're down to the top 4. Loop still in it with 3. I told you that's all they needed.
Yep, Loop's doing really, really good. Finally, that zone shifts outside of Dobro. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore, PB. Loops, they even though they don't have a chicken dinner yet, they've been putting on a hell of a performance all night. I gotta give him a big shout for that. Wow.
Well, I gotta say, they're only 5 points out of first place right now, Loops is. So if they can clutch up 5 more, that's gonna be impressive. They're gonna get 4 just for placing. So if they can get 1 more elim before they're out of here, or move up and place by 1, Loops will be looking at a top spot here after this game. So they've got a lot to prove still. Unfortunately, the tiebreaker still goes to Execute at the moment with those 2 chicken dinners. So Loops trying to get some damage done here on Vikendi. And you got to look at the Brazilian teams here. It is Loops making a statement right now in the top 4. But other than that, we also have LATAM still in it at this point. We've got both Jaguar as well as All Glory Gaming, the 1st and 2nd place teams from the region, putting on a show here. And then we've got Hyper, the 2nd place team from NA, also still alive.
I'm definitely looking good at this point. The problem is that there's no I think there's only 1 compound there, and Hyper being shot there by Loops. The one thing I don't want to be stuck in at this point of the game is rotating with those small vehicles. They blow up so quick, especially with these kind of this level of players. They are so clutch that they could actually blow up your vehicle in about, like, I don't know, maybe like 6 seconds. Look at this rotation there by Shifan. Won't get. Oh, he's got to be careful though. You don't want to expose too much. But All Glory Gaming, they're down to only 1 player, but it seems
huge.
Like, oof. We have 2 teams who got eliminated. Down to 3
All
now.
Glory Gaming is out, and Loops is down to 1 right now. Ayala taken down. Loops trying to make it into the zone. They have 1 player left at this moment. I want to say it's Kayowski. I couldn't tell. It's Cartizan. So he's down to absolutely no HP here, and this is going to be it for Loops as the zone closes in. We're into the top 2. It's head-to-head right now, 3v3 at the moment. Rin is down, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pick him up. It's Jaguar versus Nova Hyper, and this is a good showdown here. Jaguar owning the compound, but it's all about that circle, which is in Nova's favor at this point.
Hey, we're talking about 2 teams that were tied for 15 points, and one of those 2 teams will maybe break into the top 5 after this performance. PB, we got 8 kills on one side, 7 on the other. This is back to, they just reset it. It's back to a 3v3. I gotta give the advantage there to Jaguars. The fact that they have some players on the roof, they can overlook and Hyper. And if you look at that zone split right in between the 2. Jaguar sending one of the players who got spotted but did not get knocked. Nicely done.
So it looks like the Jaguars have gotten that off angle first. That's going to secure like good position for them. And it really comes down to who can move last here. Right now in Hyper a little bit closer to the circle. So if they can just outlast, ooh, that sets them back quite a bit though. That knock there, not timely as the zone's going to close in 2 seconds here. Nades are coming out to protect. Looks like smokes are going to be there to protect. Kindness is trying to get his team back in this fight, but that's a great, dangerous off angle from Simple, as he is the only one in the safe zone right now. This is going to be interesting to see who's going to move first.
It looks like Hyper might be in trouble now. A Jaguar who's got 1 player in the next zone. They got a 1-player advantage as well. This is going to be a tough one for Hyper to win. Kindness trying to make that move up, but Rin will bleed out. He's out. It's down to only Shifan and Kindness.
Clutch
but
nade.
Yeah, that's a good nade. This is one thing I did notice earlier. 1 player's never. Man, this is so quick.
Man, we were just about to get into that one, Coffee. I felt like an epic cash coming for the end of the game, and it was just like boom, bang, boom, over. Jaguar takes the chicken dinner in this one. Impressive stuff from there, just taking command of that end circle.
Yeah.
TV, well, in Hyper, they got it done, dude. They were so close. I thought they might be able to claw back into it, but the interesting thing for in Hyper, they had 0 points after 2 games. None. Not a single elim. And now they might be contending, right? They might be near that top 3. I'll have to check the scores here shortly, but impressed so far with Hyper's resurgence in game 3 and 4.
Or 2 showing life, right? Because we had Execute who won game 1 and game 2, and now we've had fresh winners for game 1 and game 3 Execute win, and then game 2 and now game 4 we've had different winners. So Jaguar showing great life, looking solid. Again, these NA squads, as well as Latin America, they are used to playing on Vikendi, so maybe they were a little bit ahead of the competition, but not by much, to be fair. I mean, you look at Loops, right? Loops did a wonderful job, once again placing, I believe, 3rd place. That's like all 4 maps, top 3 so far, Coffee. So wonderful job from them, but Jaguar having that position in the last zone, it almost felt like they were going to be ahead, and Hyper had to push into them, and when they ended up pushing Jaguar, they were ready for them.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, I remember I saw, 3 Brazilian teams, top 1, 2, and 3. So I gotta say, again, they, we talked about the fact that they didn't really practice on a broadcast, but sure. I think knowing that Vikendi would be in the mix there for the maps being played, it's guaranteed they practice, right? They're at that level. At that level, you're not just going off the top of your head unless you're really confident. You're like, hey, these are scrims. Why not do it? So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good performance.
I mean, overall, their goal right now is PMPL America's Championship, right, for spring 2023. That leads into potentially the PUBG Mobile World Invitational. That's a big deal. You've got to be up to speed and up to date on all the maps, without question. So even though they hadn't played it competitively, they knew what they were doing and they understood it. Powerbang, there was a great point, though, made by Coffee very early on. It was when we saw that half and half zone, and half was in water, half was on land, and Coffee made the great point. Zone 2 almost feels like Zone 5 at this point, because there's not much land real estate to fight for, and therefore we saw quite a few teams get into some skirmishes early on, and ultimately we even saw some early teams fall off, maybe because of that very point with half of the zone in the water.
Yeah, it's really uncharacteristic of Vikendi to have that type of fighting that early on. We saw teams just knocking each other left and right. Only 9 remaining after, 2 circles, which is just pretty crazy to have nearly half the lobby cleaned out. But overall, you love to see the aggressive play, and it made for some more exciting Vikendi action than we usually see. So early on, having that real estate, maybe it was actually a benefit for us as fans getting to see these guys go at it for the entire game.
I think it definitely was. And standout plays, though, what were we looking at, Coffee? I mean, what really stands out to you as one of the bigger plays for this map number 4?
Shotguns. If you look at the replays, I think 1 out of 2 was pushed with shotguns. But not overall. I got to say, I like the fact that most of the pushes that we saw there were not made by like 1 or 2 players. It was always like a full team.
Sure.
They were committing. So I like the fact that the commitment. And also there at the end, I wanted to talk about that, but they had so many nades. Both teams there at the end. We saw 2 players, and I think one player had 9 nades, and the other had like 7.
Right.
I was like, wow, they're there for fireworks.
I think they definitely
quite
were.
an arsenal there for sure. It was absolutely bonkers how many utilities they had at the end of that game.
It was nutty, man. Execute 7th place, PB, the lowest placement they've had yet. They've won 2 out of the 4 games played so far. Even in map 2, they I think placed 3rd with a decent amount of points this time, only getting 1. So just comes to show Vikendi, a map they need to improve on.
It really is. Interesting thing looking at these standings here. Loops were behind by 8 points versus Execute, and they have an 8-point difference here. So that's going to end up with them tied at the top of the leaderboards. Very interesting stuff indeed. Overnight, my apologies for picking you. I cannot wait to see who I pick in game number 5, man.
It's ridiculous.
The power
at this
I
point,
feel
brother.
Coursing through my veins tonight. Oh my God. Like, I feel like freaking Thanos, man. I could just snap and teams disintegrate. It's great.
Hey,
I love it.
You are the most valuable player at this point for every other team that you pick against. Like, I mean, it's really, they need to start paying you. I would pay you if I was playing in these tournaments, bro. Pick them. Hey, Loops, they're doing too good.
Teams.
Execute, they're doing too good. Pick them to win. Matter of fact, put it to the test. Map number 5, Execute, Loops have been highly consistent. Pick one of them, PB. And if they place last, then the curse is absolutely real. But surely you're going to break it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, what if, right? What if we go that route? And if it comes to fruition, DMs are open, fellas. I'm able to be approached. If you have an enemy, feel free to curse them here. Only a few dollars. Anyway, incredible stuff.
Thanos himself out of the broadcast. We'll see you later.
He's just a little.
He
snap,
said too
he's
much.
Gone.
Coffee, he gave the secret. And therefore he said too much. All right, and we know what they had to do to him here in the Titan series. Get rid of him. All right, he's back. PB's back in the mix, but he's a dangerous man. Now, Coffee, it's been a great day. We're now heading back in to a map that we saw in map 1, right? We're going into Erangel, a map that was dominated early on by our newcomers into the mix, which was Execute. They get first place, and it was their highest elimination game. Obviously, they're coming off the back of a very lackluster 7th place. I think only 1 point on map number 4, Vikendi, but now they go back to where they were most successful. They're tied with Loops at 46 and 46 points. This is a big map for them. You think they can pull through, or will Loops be able to overcome the competition?
At this point, I would have to rewind the production, and I don't know which team actually had first and second. So I don't want to go
in map number 1.
No, overall, for the night.
Execute and Loops right now. First
Execute
and second,
and Loops.
they're tied. Yeah, 46 points total. They're both tied.
Yeah, I would say Loops will win the night. Execute will probably be bumped down 3rd place because again, it's a matter of momentum. I think Execute with that performance last game. I think that's gonna mess up with them a little bit.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a wild pick here, and I'm going for YKG. I'm going for that clip art. PB, I'm going to break that spell.
It's not your spell to break, my friend. It's mine. I'm going to go with Loops. They have been a tough out so far, and so obviously you can't get them out early, right? It's impossible to wipe that squad until the top 3. That is kind of what they've shown. And again, haven't gotten any chicken dinners, but they're still tied for first right now. 46 points overall. Again, Execute owning the tiebreak right now by virtue of their 2 chicken dinners. I'm going with Loops. They will win our 5th and final
Thanos
game.
has spoken. Thanos has spoken. Hey, and Thanos is here, baby. Loops, you had a great run, but unfortunately it ends here, man. I don't even need to see Map 5. I already know how it ends.
What
They
about
have too
yourself?
much fun on these
Some effects
broadcasts.
for the
PB.
snap. I mean, why are people disappearing? What the heck? What's going on with my powers?
You're ridiculous, man. First we lost your mic a little bit earlier, then we lost your camera, and now you turn purple. PB, you're ridiculous. Loops, all right, that's your prediction. Coffee, who did you go with?
YKG.
What? Why?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I don't
Actually, I'm
know.
curious why.
PB casted a spell on them, not only because of the pick, because of the clip art. My DMs are open too. I'll get you a winning clip art. I picked the top 2 teams. I'll get you something done.
Okay, all right.
YKG,
is your
Season
pick.
0, inaugural champs of the Titan Series. YKG, PMPL North America champions. Can't be blaming the clip art, man. I got them. I don't know what's going on. We'll be back on day number 2. You can bet your bottom dollar on it.
And that's the broadcast, baby.
I'm
We don't
done.
even see Matt fight. That was a heck of an outro, bro. I mean, clip it, ship it. We're done, baby.
Right,
All right. No, we got you. We're stay here. So, Coffee, you're going YKG. And legitimately, so that's your pick. Power Bang, you're going with Loops. I'm going with the
Come on,
safe
man.
pick of Execute. What?
I made 3-4 crappy picks in a row now, and not once did you try to strong arm me out of it. You've given Coffee 4 outs right now. Are you sure you want to pick YKG?
Hey, because
I feel like we're playing favorites here, Reflections.
Hey, you know what? I mean, he watched the video. He watched the 280 bench press. You did too, though, to be fair. You did too. All right. PB, come on, because you were the host of Season 0 Titan Series. You were the host of Season 1 Titan Series. All right? Coffee's new at this casting game, and he's already doing better than you. That's all I'm saying.
This is true. This is true.
That's
It's
all.
big
Hey,
facts.
and you see that bicep, and that's another reason why I'm not saying anything to him, okay? Because he knocked me right out. He knocked me,
That's
although
right,
you're
never
6'4".
know.
I still respect
Don't
that.
want
and
to
your
run into a
Thanos.
Coffee Gaming in the dirty streets of Montreal. He'll take you down.
He's a sweetheart, trust me. He'll give you a hug. He won't give you a punch. No, it's great. We got map 5. This is a big deal, though, because, again, we're going back to map 1. Erangel, where we saw Execute absolutely dominate. If they could do so again, they've got these scrims locked in place, and they kind of showcase that, maybe they should have been in qualifiers, and maybe they should be going on to the next stage, but they're not. But even still, they showcase this new roster, and that's a big important thing. This new roster is very talented. But can Loops overtake them and get that first place position? It's absolutely possible, but even Coffee stating, maybe he thinks Execute's going to drop down to 3rd. If that's the case, then Team Jaguar is going to move up out of nowhere. There's a lot of moving pieces, and one thing is for certain, it's still close. So I'm excited to get it going. PB, though, final thoughts, though, as we head into map 5. We're going to be expecting a lot more as we did in map 1, or is everybody going to just throw that out the window and come in hot and fresh and ready for map 5?
Hot and fresh, baby. Throw it all out the window. Forget everything that you learned through the first 4 games. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new era of PUBG Mobile. Erangel coming up. What I do want to see, though, if I had one wish, is some sort of bridge circle. I want to see maybe a military island circle. I want to see some questionable, do we go south? Do we stay north? What do we do? I want to see some choke points. I want to see some freaking chaos is what I want to see. So that's the mischief maker in me, just wanting to
I see that.
crash everything together on the battleground. So we'll see what happens.
That's a commentator in you, PB. You just want chaos.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want. I want chaos. The
mix it
competitors
up.
are like, I just want a straight and forward map, zone. I just want what we practice, bread and butter. I don't want chaos. But maybe we'll get some chaos by good old Thanos. Coffee, though, map 5. Going to be a ton of fun without question. YKG, we'll see if they can do something, and they have to. I mean, all jokes aside, a team that has had such an illustrious performance in the Titan series, who have now moved on to the next stage, it is a bit disappointing. YKG is playing like they are. Granted, it's scrims, right? But other teams have really been rising up to the occasion. So YKG being your pick, I mean, they really do need to showcase something in this map 5, because at this point it's getting a bit silly. But hey, there's other teams not performing well. I'm not just soloing out
100%.
YKG. I can. Yeah.
I definitely feel that. I mean, one of the things I've noticed with YKG is they've been contested. Every single drop, they're going against another team, and they're going against them immediately, and they just haven't gotten the better end of those encounters. And that's, you know, that early on, it can truly be RNG. It's like, hey, I didn't find a gun. I didn't have armor. Like, whatever the case may be, they've got to find a nice little spot to drop. And as you saw in Game 1, they picked Primorsk here on Erangel, and nobody bothered them. So they just need to get a little bit of a head of steam. They were playing good in Game 1. Let's see if they can repeat that here in Game 5.
All right, well, map number 5, Erangel. We're going back to where we were in map 1. Let's see if we'll have a different result, or we'll execute, get their 3rd win of the night. That would be truly spectacular, but they've got some teams on their heels. I'm talking about Loops. I'm talking about Jaguar. Maybe even throw InHyper in the mix. First place is not a guarantee, especially with Execute and Loops, both tied. As we head into map number 5, I want to pass over to our casters, PB and Coffee. Take it away.
Hey, PB, I gotta say, you know, I like these angles, these camera angles they got there of Erangel. You know, okay, we picked a team. What about we pick, you know, where do we think the Enzo will be at? I'll let you go first because I already have my my guess.
I can tell you where it's not gonna be. That's
where you're gonna say. Oh. Okay. I'm going for shooting range. That's my guess.
Okay. I like that. I'm gonna go with a northern military island final circle. So down south, but up north down south.
Oh, that'd be great, especially for Loops, as you can see right there. Loops is going military. So if that's the case,
They split?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Interesting.
One thing I'm looking at is Storm going with the same drop spot they had earlier. They were contested earlier last Erangel match, game number 1, and they did not change a thing. You know, they won that fight. They went right back at it. YKG going back to Primorsk, and PP.
Let's go. I've been on point with the zones today. I'll tell you that much. Teams, forget about it. Zones, we got you. Got a lock.
Well, hey, this will come in play, you know, for especially the teams that are going north. We're talking about, you know, like teams like Execute. You know, at this point, do you change your strategy? Like, are you going to land down the road and try to go down as fast as you can? Because, you know, these bridges are going to be are going to be camped. And, you know, we got YKG there at the bridge. I don't think we're going to be able to get on that action, but we got 2 teams. This is, I think it's Hyper Esports?
It was InHyper and YKG kind of running into each other at the bridge. They certainly saw each other, and YKG's going to follow them across. So this is really interesting, and, you know, they're both headed straight towards Loops. And could Loops get crashed on here? Will they be the first ones out? That's the question.
I don't know, but again, we got a Storm on the kill feed early here. Already with their first elimination. That is not looking good for ATON Esports, who already lost 1 player. But, you know, it's kind of a tough call to make. You know, okay, sure. You know, probably half of the map was on Military Island, but it committed pretty early. You know, it was like, hey, let's make that call. We go, we don't go. Because, again, you don't want to be stuck at that bridge. And they made that call. Ooh. Storm being shot at.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, shoot at me. Just driving around with this cute little kitty cat hat. ATON getting into it from distance here. Milos, I feel like he's constantly been by himself, just getting in skirmishes with anybody. Like, he sees somebody, he's shooting at him. He doesn't care.
Oh, the Mosin. You know, that's one thing we didn't see a whole lot tonight, PB. Snipers. I don't think we've seen too many players using snipers. It's all about, you know, ARs and shotguns for the most part. But yeah, Storm will be looting Milta here, and it seems, you know, again, this is a decent spot, all things considered. You know, I mean, they're in zone. No, sorry, they're out of zone. They're out of zone. My bad. I thought they were in zone. No, they're out of zone. I thought they were on the right part of the map. I'll have to recheck at the map. But you know, if they do have to cross over on military, they could actually get right back right by Novo. So we'll see how this plays out for them. But already 1 point for them.
Love to get on the board early. They definitely need it so far. Storm has had a decent night. They were in 5th place after last game, and they've fallen to 10th by virtue of only scoring 2 points last game. So certainly not out of it, but they've got to do some work to get up that leaderboard. I will say, Hyper and dead last after the first couple of games, 0 points. They have crawled all the way back up to 4th. They're currently sitting with 29 points, and that is, looks like 17 points out of the lead right now. So theoretically, with a chicken dinner here and some decent elims, they could move all the way to 1st place after this game, and that would be like a pretty miraculous turnaround for Hyper, given that they don't even have a chicken dinner yet.
Indeed. But all things considered, PB, we gotta remember that this is only day 1. Some of these teams might be holding off and you know, just try to gather some information on the other teams. They'll definitely be watching the broadcast after they're done playing tonight and try to figure out, like, you know, okay, which are the teams that are like their nemesis, and figure out like what are their rotations and stuff. They'll definitely adapt, and I can't wait to see day 2 what they'll have in store for us.
Absolutely. Got Loops here, still hanging by a thread. All 4 members alive. My pick going strong. Let's go.
All right, the Panthers heading towards the bridge. I mean, with this zone closing, I think once the zone is closed, we'll know exactly the fate, unless it's gonna be like half and half. But I think we're gonna have the fate of the game shortly when it comes to zones. We'll see how this one turns out.
It's interesting. We're missing a team. I just noticed that we don't have any real elims yet, but we are down a team, and it's Royals of War.
Ooh.
Currently sitting in 11th overall, so their standing will not be helped by this game. Hopefully we'll see them back tomorrow, but who knows what's going on. That's the thing with scrims. It's usually, you know, hopefully it's a full lobby every time, but every once in a while, you know, there's conflicts, and it's kind of lower stakes than some of like the major tournaments that are going on. So it's to be expected that some people have some stuff happening, but definitely hope to see them back.
Indeed. Another team that decides to go across the bridge. The one thing I gotta say, PB, with the new bridge they got there with the, you know, the walkways on both sides.
Yep.
We don't see that many bridge camps anymore.
No, we don't. And I honestly love it when we do, because there's nothing like a good bridge camp in my eyes. I love the dynamic the walkways add when there actually is a fight there. But it becomes less of a choke point when you do have those multiple elevations. It makes for a much more dynamic fight. Teams can actually get an angle, even sneak up and potentially surprise you with those walkways that have been added. So yeah, quite a few less bridge camps now, but it's still possible.
We still got Influence Chemin up in Yasnaya, and we had Execute up in Northern George Bowl. They are far out, and my question is, will they wait, you know, maybe 1 or 2 zones before making their move, especially Execute, making sure that they don't lose a player early, or will they try to just scramble towards one of those bridge? We got some players here. Okay, I thought it was he was parked there for a second, but yeah, dope. I think they're right on the edge of the bridge, close to the bridge there on one of the hills, waiting to see what's the fate. Where will the zone go?
It's gonna go to that northern southern military island. It's north-south. You know what I'm saying? I made that prediction. Gonna get something right tonight, and it's gonna be the zones. That's what's up. That's where it's going. I feel it in my bones.
Okay.
Erangel out for a spin.
Yeah, I was about to say they had great tires there for Vikendi, but when it comes here, I don't think they're well equipped. All right, zone, come on. I feel like the zone is slow. Is it just me?
Nah, man, it delayed at least 6 or 7 minutes just to spite you.
It is slowly.
Yeah. Oh, starting to get a little more crowded down south. Teams making their way across the river and have made it to the southern island. Flamengo here.
Your mic got cut off, PB, or it's mine. I don't see your mic moving. So hey, I'm
with you, man. I was just taking some time to think, you know?
Okay, I see. Well, hey, PB.
Ooh.
You did
Here we go.
Something right. You got something right.
We're going that north-south, you know what I'm saying? That northern-southern military zone. And, you know, if we're going to get something right tonight, it's going to be the circles. Not going to be the teams. I feel it in my bones, man.
Well, hey, one thing that I'll tell you now, Execute. If you look at that zone, I have no clue how they'll manage to get over the zone, because man, most team committed early. Bridges are taken, and for the players that are still on the main island, they're going to be battling. They're definitely going to take some losses before they make their way over.
Coffee, you're doubting the #1 team in the lobby right now. Execute. #1, 2 chicken dinners. This is strategic. They're hanging back on purpose, waiting for everyone else to kill each other, and they're just going to waltz on in uncontested. That's the plan.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We got dope esport business taking out one.
Yes, let's go. Bridge camp.
Bridge camp. It is.
Waiting for this.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't like fighting there anymore.
You got some memories?
Yeah, you know, it's like the, you know, that PTSD Chihuahua meme.
Yeah,
that's me right now.
Yeah, oh wow! Oh, they are zooming. Kayowski's trying to shoot some toes here. Unfortunately, coming up empty, but it's quite the racetrack out there. Federal coming to the support of his teammate, takes down Seller and gets Suppig. So really clutch play from Influence Chemin here.
I think that's the Chosen who got picked apart there. And yeah, look at that zone. Yeah. I don't know what to set at this point, PB. It's gonna be, I think right now, you know, it's kind of slow-ish. You know, we got a lot of fighting, but I think in a few seconds it's gonna be an all-off freaking brawl out there. You know, once the zone closes, we'll have all the teams out there, and I gotta point it out. We got 14 teams, and we were missing a team early, and there you go. And nicely done by Federal. Beautiful nade.
That was insane. They got the third-party help there from the behind. Rojas there from AGG, getting a little piece of the action. You love to see it. Here's Loops, though. Ooh, man. Chief has been on point tonight with every gun he's picked up. Just doing work for Loops, and Loops has continued to impress here, and obviously with my pick, they're cruising to victory for certain.
Okay, chill, PB. They only got one.
No, man. I've been right all night. Yeah, so we're not stopping now.
No, they're not stopping. They're committing fully, and there you go. That's a nutter, and I think the Panthers are in trouble. Panthers, who had 3 eliminations, they were on top of that leaderboard, and now they're down to only 1 player. Look at all these teams that are still stuck on the main island. This is going to be chaotic.
This is what we were hoping for. Here's that circle going a bit north. Going to that north-south island. I love this. All right, so NHP, interesting position on the south. Clearly no one's going to come in below them. So I like their position there. Looks like Flamengo's going to have to battle it out on the bottom side of that zone as well. Lots of chaos, lots of bridge camping going on, lots of choke points here. Influence Chemin finally making their way across. This has been awesome to see these teams try to make it over there. Execute finally. Getting pieced up a little bit. Sixless goes down to AGG.
Yeah, Execute, who are still on the main island, they decide to rotate towards Milta, get that Milta bridge, and I don't think that was the call. You know, they were on the West Coast, and West Coast seemed like it was clear, but hey, at this point, they don't have the information we have, and it looks like I think it's Hyper Esport who just lost a player. Yep.
Dude was just chilling in that buggy, and they were just levitating, David Blaine style. That was cool. That player's got some swagger, man. He was just like, check me out, guys. Check me out. I'm on camera, right? I heard it.
Yeah, Kainesu got taken out. One thing that I didn't witness is that we had no teams inside military base. Military base
what
is
kind
up
of
for
lift kit is on this truck? Look at this. Oh, yeah. That's funny.
I don't know. Actually don't know.
Ren pulls in. He's got 20-inch tires, but dang it, he's got 12-inch of lift. Let's go.
Oh man, Jaguars on their knees. Jaguars who've been doing good. I mean, especially with the performance they had last game. You know, it's their game to win here.
Really is. Jaguars has been solid again. #1 team out of LATAM. They're sitting in 3rd overall right now, 35 points, and again. This game is on their home server, so you expect them to do a bit better, perhaps. Chiffon here with the nade. Those are the types of things that typically can happen when you're not on your home server. Getting that timing just a little bit off on your corners and trying to nade yourself in the process. Coffee, that looked like one of my nades.
Well, hey, it's not only... Oh, and there we go. YKT, baby, my pick. Going in hot, and there it is. I'm just saying, Hyper Esports. Ouch.
in Hyper getting pieced up a little bit. They're down to one member. I want to say it was Ren somewhere. Oh, it's QZZ off in the distance there. He's hiding. He's got a vehicle, but I think Chico's got a beat on him. He knows where he's at. We'll see if they go after it here. QZZ trying his best to fend them off. And it looks like he's got more problems than just YKG. He's got Loops off in the distance as well. There's a lot going on right here.
Yep, Execute, who lost a player early, 0 kills. And it seems like Loops are not slowing down, PB. They got 5 kills, and they're still 4 players strong. This is actually the first map that they had their 4 players for this long, and it looks like QZZ is in trouble. YKG with a 3-man push gets 1 knock, and Loops from the distance will knock a player as well.
You know what I'm thinking? Loops, Cartizan should just drive into that fight and give himself up. I don't think they're a little too heavy right now on the roster. I think they need like 1 less player at least if they're going to have a chance.
Well, hey, I don't know, but YKG, can they finish this fight? And there it is, done. He took a little damage there. YKG, no, okay, I thought they lost a player, but no, it's only a knock. And Execute and Loops, this could be the fight for the first place, but Loops, Cartizan decides to back away from that.
That was quick decision making there. Did you see how quickly they both bounced from that fight? They saw the other squad. Both those cars were out super quick before Execute could really gain a foothold and actually lay down any fire.
Hey, I gotta say, I think every members of Loops are driving like a green skin car. Yeah. So I mean,
it's uniform.
If that's the case, I mean, if I see green cars close to me, I'm running away. You know, I'm not staying there. Hell no.
That's a good observation, man. I honestly hadn't noticed that, but I like what you're saying. And I also like the fact that Casper and company here have made their way to Circle. Yes, they lost Sixless, but as you mentioned earlier, it was going to be a tough get to actually make it to the zone. You see Trick here going down as well, getting picked from distance, and he is finished by Chief. Chief is a menace, dude. I'm liking this guy for MVP overall today. I have no idea what that looks like, but I could probably tally some stats here on my end shortly. But man, looking really sharp for Loops, and Loops has dropped a player, Mythic, down on his knees, and same with another from their side as well. Not sure who it is, but Loops finally getting down to fighting weight here.
This reminds me of the Galaxy battles that we had. You know, you guys were in second. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Execute. Come on. Man, this reminds me, you know, never mind. Let's not talk about it, okay? Oh, Loose man taking. Oh, it's YKG.
I just want to clarify that I'm fine to talk about it, Coffee. If you want to talk about it some more, I'm happy to at length.
Nah, PB, you know what? We're here to cast what's happening here, you know, in the Titan series. It's not about what happened in the past. The past is the past. Let's move forward.
I generally agree with your philosophy here, Coffee, so I'm going to oblige, and we're gonna go forward. I got producers in my ears saying I was carried by Rolex. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I'm comfortable knowing that I walked away champion, so it's fine. I've got a trophy in the mail. I ordered it for myself. It will be engraved. It's awesome. So there's that.
Oh man, Execute down to 1 player PV and a YKG. Can you believe that? I have more and more faith in my team right now. 5 eliminations, 4 players strong, looking good. They got some really good compounds, and they're dead center, shooting in all directions. I like YKG. I like their positioning. I like how they're playing smart and aggressive. I'm just saying, PP. I'm seeing in the future here.
Did you pick YKG here?
I did.
I kind of feel like misremembering that and thinking you picked somebody else that maybe finished lower on the totem pole, like, you know, Royals of War, who didn't even show up for the match. I think that's who you went with. I'm pretty sure I remember it that way. But anyway, I like their position here as well. Check that out. They're over both sides of the road here. Dead center in the circle, in compounds. YKG looking really strong right now. Certainly have to be up there amongst the teams to beat at this point in the game.
Yeah, the Brazilian team's not looking too good right now. We got Loops. 1 player. I think we have Influence Chemin. Okay, no, they still got 3 players up. Not too bad. Okay, I'm taking my words back. I thought they were down to 2, but they got 3 players up. We got a fight here going on. Storm down to 2 players. We got Allens and Pereira. Both the players didn't hear too much about them tonight, but Allen puts his name on the kill feed there with a beautiful spray there with that M4.
Beautiful spray it was. I wish I could shoot like that, man. My gun's all over the place when I shoot. 24K getting pieced up a little bit by Alan Zinn, and that Erangel scoots by as well. He might get to safety, and just like that, he does. Alan Zinn peeking out of a little ditch here. He's got some nice little soft cover with this ground. Nice little curvature of the earth to protect him, and Influence Chemin starting to stack up the sandbags here to take some cover.
Yeah, that's one thing that PUBG Mobile added to the game. I think it's a few seasons back, but you know, these little spots with the you know, the sandbags, that was not in early PUBG days, and I gotta like the addition there.
I think it's pretty cool. It adds a little bit of a dynamic to that open field gameplay where there's just not much cover, and now you can have these fortified little positions that make for some nice open field battling later on in the games.
Yep, we see Casper there by military base. He's the last player standing for Execute. I mean, Execute with 0 kills on the board. It seems like you know, it's they're gonna be falling off their top spot there, with Loose with 7 kills, down to only 1 player as well. But with those 7 kills,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, hey,
I was just gonna say, you know, we got to point out that Loops Artisan, he's the only one left. But like I said earlier, they don't seem to need a full squad. So let's see where he's at in just a little bit. I don't know. I'm not counting Loops out just yet, based on what I've seen so far.
I gotta say, that's an interesting strat they got going on. You know, just getting into the end game with 1 or 2 players. It's working for them.
Jaguar, I know, right?
A Jaguar who did really, really good last game. You know, I talked about momentum, right? And they did very well last game, getting that chicken dinner with 10 frags. Right now, they got 2, but the 4 players are up. We're down to 20 players total, 8 teams remaining. Looking really good.
Jaguars got to be a favorite. Again, #1 team out of LATAM. And showing why here this tournament so far. 3rd overall, coming into the 5th and final game of day 1 here of the Titan Series Americas Scrims. Again, everybody getting prepped and ready for PMPL Americas, where the winners will be moving on to the global stage. So trying to give these teams as much practice as possible in the Titan Series here. And the next circle about to land. We'll see if it can bless YKG or Storm once again. And it does indeed. Jaguar, YKG, both inside the circle. All other teams will have to battle their way in. But both of the teams remaining with 4 up. Looking pretty solid here, Coffee.
Yeah, you see, you got top 2 on both end of that zone. Well, the circle right now. We got Loops on one side on the west, and we got Execute on the east. Not looking too good. YKG, baby, dead center. I like their positioning. If they don't do anything, you know, crazy, they're almost guaranteed to a top 3, unless, you know, we have a team like Overknights that would just full send that compound. You know, Overknights haven't done a whole lot tonight overall, but I mean, you know, all they need is 1 performance like the Jaguars did last game, and you know, we'll be talking about them tomorrow.
Absolutely. Shots in here to All Glory Gamers, and it is going to be challenging for them to do much with this position. They are kind of pinned down. They've got Casper sneaking in here. He's about to make himself known, I have this feeling. He might. The thing is, that's one thing that's interesting. It's like, sure, you can sneak around and try to get that placement, but if you can get a knock and a finish, it's equal to 1 placement up anyway. So if you can get 1, even 2, that's actually probably a better outcome in most cases than trying to rank up. So we'll see how they approaches it.
True. But at the same time, you know, it's all about third party, especially in those last zones. You know, we got players getting knocked from left and right. And if you're able at that point to just go for that thirst, it's a whole different story than try to, you know, get that knock, get the thirst without being spotted. I think this is a strategy we got from Execute and Loops. Loops, like I said, 7 kills, 1 player. I mean, they're still in the game. We're in the top 6 situation. At this point, all the teams out here are making at least 1 point.
Absolutely. So Loops, Execute still in. Still trying to get them points racked up. YKG, Overknight, and Jaguar all with full squads at this point, so you gotta like their chances. And again, YKG has just been really, really strong in this position, but now Overknight has moved in as well across the road, and I don't know how friendly of neighbors they're gonna be. I just have this hunch they're gonna be kind of hostile, like stay off my lawn type of neighbors. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We got Loops with the high ground. I'm looking at that. YKG not really exposing. Again, you gotta wait. Zone is closing. We're about to see, is it going on the west side or east side of that road? this is gonna be a game changer for the teams they'll be on the other side.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see where this circle goes next. Jaguar is all over the place right now. They've just decided, listen, we're just going to disperse our members all over the place and hope for the best. I don't know if there's like a plan here or like what angles are actually being covered. It's really interesting. Looks like Simple has gotten into that wizard tower up there. So that's kind of, what he's doing. Everyone else, though, is just hanging back and praying for zone here, it seems. I hope Loops gets it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's because it's your pick, PB.
Yeah, I know. Maybe a biased pick. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Loops gets it. Let's go.
Yeah, he's got a really solid spot. I think Execute got spotted. They got taken out. So Execute in 6th place, 2 points, 2 eliminations point. That means he managed to spot someone before he got taken out. Man, look at this positioning right there. And this is what I was saying, PB. He's just waiting. As soon one of the Jaguar members will get knocked, I think he's gonna come in and clutch it, get that terse. Oh, one of the loot vehicles just got stolen. You know how I can tell? It's green.
It's green. It's green. Yeah, good call. Loops right now with a 15-point advantage over Jaguar right now, and that is the margin over the 3rd place team. Execute finishes up here again with only 2 points. So we know that Loops will pass them up at a minimum here, and the only team that can still catch them in the lobby right now is Jaguar. So that's kind of the matchup I'm looking at right now. And based on the zone position, I wonder if Loops is visible, right? Is that player Cardisan up on the hill? Can people see him? If not, he might just make it to the end here. They can't. Look at this. He is golden. He won't have to fight until the end. It's going to be 2nd place for Loops. I'm calling it now.
YKG going crazy. They're picking some kills left and right. YKG now tied up with 7 kills, looking really, really good. It looks like Overnight just got taken out. Joey on his force, and this is a moment where Loops, they could actually, he could, no, okay, never mind. He's just gonna wait it out, I guess.
Oh no. Oh, he stopped short.
Oof.
I was like, oh, you see him, he hopped up to his knees. He's like, wait a minute, who's coming up here to pay me a visit? They're down to 3 teams. It's YKG, it's Jaguar, both with full squads, and it's Loops. Will they fight before Loops has to move? Cardisan at the top of the hill behind the rock. He's got hard cover. But will the circle bless him? If it does, we might see a battle between Jaguar and YKG before he has to actually get in the fight here.
Yeah, the thing, when you're by yourself, especially like in the position he's got right now, no teams are focused on him. You know, they can't even see him. So again, the only time I think he's going to be shooting is if there's a knock and it's an easy terse. But the thing is, as soon as he starts shooting, he's going to get spotted. And I think this is exactly what's happening right now. We got one player from the Jaguar who decides to shift up. And look at Loop. Cardisan.
Interesting.
Yep, he got damage.
I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right. So he gets picked off. Loops out of here in 3rd place. But again, a 3rd place for a solo, man. Loops putting up big points. Once again, they finish with 12 in the lobby. That'll move him into 1st place. And YKG is shredding right now. They've got the compound. And awkward split right now for Jaguar. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a little bit disjointed. And they still got homie in the wizard tower across the street that's kind of stuck.
Yeah, they did put themselves in this situation. You know, it's not the zone that put them. They decided to put themselves. So I don't know if they're comfortable, but I got to say, YKG, man, they've been shredding the lobby. 11 kills. Imagine if they managed to get the chicken dinner. This could possibly be. Wow.
Joey connected on that through the smoke. You can see the hit marker, and they blow up. The vehicle Simple is down. And Jaguar, 2v4 situation. YKG on the hunt right now. Coffee, you got to like your pick at this point, man. It's looking pretty good.
I'm just saying, I'm quite the opposite of a caster curse, I guess. But hey, this game is not over yet, PV. It's not over yet. We got the Jaguar. These got 2 players up. Simple, I believe he's going to bleed out. Nades are being thrown left and right.
Nice nade. That was a really nice nade. He actually connected, almost got the elim. Pops out of the car and says, do something about it. Mercy able to trade with him here, but that is getting down to the thick of it. 24K is on the push. This should be just about it. And it is YKG wrapping up the chicken dinner to close things out. Huge points from them. Coffee, they desperately needed it.
They definitely needed it. And I got to say, that clip art PP looks so good on that screen. Whew.
Man, whew, man, whew. It's definitely not the clip art, that's for sure.
Not a performance, man. Hey, 24 points, BB. 24 points in the chicken. Whew.
Huge.
What a performance.
They just went from
performance from
last
YKG.
place to 5th place in one game. So that's decent. Yeah, big jumps there
really?
for YKG. They're still in it. So
That's crazy. They legitimately went from like last place to 5th in the standings just from that alone?
Yeah.
So, all right, that shows to me YKG. They weren't playing too well throughout the first 4 maps. Were they trying? I don't know. It's all speculation. We don't have the full story, right? We don't have the comms. We're not talking to them directly, at least. But that map number 5 shows what YKG can do, and also why YKG PB did so well in the Titan series regardless. It continues to be a great team. So even though they didn't perform in the first 4 maps, this 5th map shows to me when they go to compete in the PMPL Americas Championship, they're going to be just fine.
I agree. I really like the fact that YKG chose to head south early on in that game. They saw the zone obviously going to Military Island, and they were like, you know what? We are going to join the crews that are already down there, and they did just that. So they took off early before they even looted, and they chose to grab that position down there. It ultimately paid off for them as they had a position of strength, had great gear, and were able to actually win the position battle, getting that great compound pretty early on in those fights, and YKG ultimately holding on for victory there.
And Execute getting a less than desirable finish, Coffee, but Loop still finishing top 3, which I believe puts them top 3 in like at least for sure 4 of the 5 games, maybe all 5 games.
It does.
Yeah, it does, and I'm just saying, it did Loop, not Loop, but did Execute drop 3rd place?
No, they're still 2nd place right now. So
I'm talking like just in their games alone, like their individual like game performances and.
I just want to see if I just want to see if my call before the match, if I was bang on with my YKG and Execute dropping 3rd. People will start, hey, wait, this guy has the script or something.
I tell you weren't far off, though, Coffee. You were only 2 points off. If Team Jaguar gets that win, they take over 2nd place over Execute, and Execute drops to 3rd place, which therefore would have made you a wizard. But right now, you're still in training. But Coffee, that's still a great effort, brother. Great effort nonetheless. And we take a look at our 9th through 14th PB, and not looking too solid for them. Panthers, unfortunately, not getting, only a couple of points, a handful of points. Flamingo, dope, and in Hyper as well, right? They at least didn't have a solid game number 5, but they showed great promise, I think, throughout at least the first 4 games.
I gotta say, looking at that screen right there, if you were to tell me, or tell Execute rather, at the beginning of the day that, hey man, you're gonna have 2 chicken dinners and be in 2nd place in the Americas after day 1, you got to think they'd be thrilled with that performance. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I think they've got to be over the moon happy about this, and I really commend them on the solid play. I mean, this was really impressive.
Not only that, but I got to say, not only that, but the fact that we don't have any Brazilian team that won a match, that is something I would have not have guessed. The Brazilian teams out there, they've been performing every single tournament very well. Sure. Again, maybe it's because it's scrims, maybe they have like a 1 foot on the brake, they're not giving out, all their strategies, all their, I don't know. But I got to say, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised by the fact that no Brazilian team managed to get a chicken dinner out of 5 games.
Well, they didn't get a chicken dinner, but they're going to have to settle with 1st place in the standings. So, that's a bit of a trade-off, right? Loop still gets 1st place. So, Brazil, but I mean, the consistency really is key. And it comes to show you, even if you're not making flashy plays and flashy games, getting high eliminations and getting 1st place, if you can consistently get top 5 with some decent amount of eliminations, you'll get 1st place. Now, will you get that comfortably? Well, 10 points. Is that comfortable over Execute? I would say that's relatively comfortable given the point spread. But hey, Loops, great job from them, and we have an entire day number 2 to go through, which makes me excited, PB, right? Because day 1 was pretty good.
100% to give my closing thoughts on today. Incredible job to all of the teams that played today. Saw some consistent performers, saw some snaps from Thanos eliminating people from contention. I will be back to give terrible picks in future games. So there's that. But guys, if you are curious about the standings, we'll have all of that updated for you on social media. So make sure you follow us at Titan Series GG. Everywhere on socials, you should see those up on Instagram and Twitter here in just a bit. But what I can say is, looking at the standings right now, Loops firm command of first place with a 10-point lead over Execute, who's in second. Jaguar in third place. We got All Glory Gaming in fourth. YKG and Overnight tied for fifth right now. So those are your top five. Impressive, though, for YKG to jump from last all the way to fifth. So that shows you that really it's anyone's game and anyone can pop off at any time. These teams are all super talented.
Hey, and in these tournaments, they're multiple day tournaments. Stamina is a real thing. Pop off day one, you don't do it day two. Hey, day three is going to be a lot rougher for you if you even make it to that point. Coffee, you did a wonderful, stellar job today. It was incredible working with you for the first time. What are your final words before we get out of here?
Hey, hopefully I get the chance of coming back. I really enjoyed it. When it comes to stats, guys, and everything, not only social medias, guys, check out titanseries.gg. If you want to see more in-depth stats on the players, on the teams, head over to that website. I gotta say, it's never been done, especially in the mobile, on a mobile scene, something like that. It's insane what the team did there. But yeah, I gotta say, for all the teams, even those who didn't perform as well, as they would have hoped for, there's still one day to be played. And if you guys want my pick, I could actually post my pick on Twitter, and we'll see we'll see how right I can.
I love it.
All right, fair enough. Well, there you go. He's going to be putting it out there. Coffee. Follow him on Twitter, and he's got a lot of great things. And content creation, too, is a beautiful thing. A lot of fans out there supporting him. Hey, it's been a great day, and we owe it to you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But hey, for myself, Taylor, Reflections, Noble, Powerbang, Coffee, our production team, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here for day one of the Titan Series America Scrims. Join us tomorrow, day number 2. We start off 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We would love to have you again.